I thought he was going to do one thing or the other way.
Greetings. Welcome to Roll Hit Die Presents The Dresden Files, New Orleans. I'm Dan Latham, and this is not my game to run, so I will hand this off to Rod, who is our GM for this session.
So we are in session 2 of city building for New Orleans. It's not New Orleans, and apparently they don't call it New Orleans either. And I even read that they don't call it NOLA. That's just New Orleans, Louisiana. It is New Orleans, and there are several folks with us. Well, I guess 4 doesn't, or 5 was total, is not several. So starting, I guess if we go clockwise, everyone knows you, Dan. Also Shadrach Degar. Also, you have several of those. Also,
I have a few different names I can tend to go by, but yes, those are the two majors.
we don't have characters yet because we're still in city creation.
No, we don't.
Yep, on the screen below you is Robert. Good evening, Robert.
Hello.
Across from him is Michael John. You can
just nod.
and then above him is Dave.
So, hi everyone.
You know, I have my problem is, so on my screen you guys are all over here, but I'm looking over here at the Twitch, and so I'm like, that's weird. None of them are reacting when I'm calling them. They're just sitting there because there's some light delay.
It's a little bit of delay.
I figured you'd appreciate that a little. I'm going to turn that off so I'm not staring at that. So city creation, there are 3 parts of city creation. The first is coming up with the aspect. The second is then defining places and people, right, or places and faces. And then the third is character creation. So our goal has been to take no more than 3 sessions to do the city and character creation. Ultimately, for folks who've played or are planning to play a Dresden Files game, the city creation is it's really an opportunity for the players to pretty directly tell a GM what they're looking for in the city. So if you have the ability, Dan, to show that PDF to
I'm just about to do it.
If there's anyone who's watching, right? It'll kind of talk about some of the things that we've already settled on and landed on, right? And we do know some of this is not 100% correct. It is New Orleans. I believe we said 2007. Did we go with 2007 or 8? Oh, we said 7.
7.
That's what I thought. No campaign title yet. We're working on that. But New Orleans 2007, we've come up with 2 themes and a threat. So the idea, a city of hope and despair, there's definitely a lot of juxtaposition there. The aspect is let the good times roll. So that does sound like it's a little bit more hopeful than despairing, but let's face it, the people who are preying on the mortals of New Orleans are also want to let the good times roll, and there's where that's going to go.
And you can always roll craps.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, we haven't even talked about any of the riverboats or gambling, so we have to at some point hit that hopefully this evening, right? I think.
Yeah.
Gambling.
You know, maybe the riverboats are also part of neutral ground.
Well, actually, I was just thinking if it's a gambling riverboat, maybe we give that as one of the locations associated with one of the White Court, like House Scavis, which is all about despair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about it. The people who are all into despair and that's what they feed on, host gamblers. Our second theme, supernatural gumbo. I like that very much, Robert. Was that you or Dave? That was you, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, is all I can say.
I love gumbo.
Very good.
I do. It is. But we're doing low carb, so no
you can
gumbo.
have it. We just can't have less.
Can't have it. All right. The aspect culture clash. And I have a couple of names and stuff under those that we'll hopefully define this evening. And then finally, we do have a thread of conspiracies, corruption, crime, and Katrina with the aspect of hidden masters. So that is basically the players saying to me, there always needs to be some sort of power behind the throne. Obvious or not, right? And maybe not always, because you do have to be wondering sometimes because of the whole hidden, but there should always be, I'm reading that as another layer of what's going on, right? That sound right to the four of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I don't know what that means for the faces we're writing below it.
So that's it. So we had started talking about some faces, some people, and I said, you know what? Let me try to put a few of them on this this document. This is our city map, right? Not a map, but this is a campaign map, right? What's here? What's going on? In terms of let the good times roll, you guys said you wanted Jacques Saint Germain, right? Jacques the Vampire, we called him. We had said his aspect was a white court potentate. I just thought, the let the good times roll sounds a little bit more summer court to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we go with summer court. I don't know. What do you all think? Does that work?
It works. We just have to define somebody for it.
Yep.
Yes, we do. And hey, that's this evening. Next, the culture clash. Something for the Wild Fae, because if the summer court is here and the Wild Fae, if they're going at it for the culture clash, I figure we put them in there as well. And then we know that we had said there's some Cajun not lycanthropes. We said lycanthropes or shifters.
I think we said shifters.
Okay.
Because the creatures we were talking about were more of a combination of human and creature, as opposed to, I think lycanthropes are just take on the aspects, not physical aspects, but
Yeah, I have. Where did it go? Oh, actually, we said lycanthrope clans in the bayou.
okay.
Yeah, they're all pretty nice.
Do we like? I mean, do you prefer them to be shifters instead of lycanthropes?
Lycanthropes is fine. I just, I personally, as far as the Dresden thing, don't know too much of the difference. I was just going by the definition I remember us talking about.
So, a lycan. In fact, we can even look it up in the book and just kind of read the definition.
Oh yeah, I guess I could do that.
A shapeshifter is your traditional werewolf, right? Anyone who changes shape. A lycanthrope means says, let's get this clear up front. Lycanthropes are not werewolves, though they share some traits in common. Where werewolves change their bodies, lycanthropes change only their minds, aligning their thoughts and senses with those of a beast. While this isn't as scary as a man turning into a wolf in front of you, they can still mess you up pretty nasty. They're also usually traveling in packs. So think Berserker Gang, right? Norse Berserkers are lycanthropes. But anyone can be a lycanthrope, right? It's a bunch of people who they've kind of given into this beast sphere.
So, would it be with some of the legends that are involved with some of the creatures of the swamp have some of the shape changers as well?
It could be. It could be one. It could be lycanthropes or shape changers or both. What do you guys like?
Because I know we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3 possible legendary creatures that make their way in New Orleans that could be werewolves or were-gators, or what's the other one here? One is actually listed as a Sasquatch in New Orleans, so we can have those out there too.
So what is it? What do we like better? You're muted, Robert.
I kind of like shifters.
Okay.
I mean, lycanthropes can still be part of it, but
Okay.
I mean, a war-gator somewhere out there,
Yeah, there's a family of weregators.
Yeah, the Crunch or Grunch.
Yep, those are. So that's more specific creatures probably than faces and families, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about those just yet. All right, so our Cajun, I found a very Cajun name, La Pérouse. That work for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm like, I'll go find the last name and we'll figure out who this guy's going to be. For our hidden masters, you had said the beautiful white court matriarch.
Yeah.
I came up with a hyphenated name.
I like that.
Thank you. Because we know that, right, we went with fear. Actually, we have 4 of them. Sorry, yeah. So that particular, the Wraith family is all about lust. That's why I went with the hyphenated name of Wraith de Gris, or de Grus. I don't know, Dave. You took French. How would you say that?
Oh, degree? I don't know.
Good. Degree. So Wraith degree.
all I know is don't pronounce the S.
Never pronounce the S. All right.
It depends, but not in this spelling.
Yeah, say that. I took Latin. You pronounce all the letters in Latin.
Yeah, actually, an S at the end of the word, I think, is just about never pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know why
Other consonants are,
you know,
either do or maybe.
All right. The balance of power is kind of the next important thing, and again, you guys, you stop me at any point where you're like, hey, you know, let's do this or let's do that, right? I'm just trying to sum up some of the what I was putting down as our thoughts as we were finishing this up. And you can feel free to show this. I don't know if you have an easy way to jump between things, Dan. If not, then don't worry about it.
I've got my screen share up, so they're seeing whatever I put on the one screen.
So the supernatural status quo. We have 4 white court vampire families jockeying for control of the quarter, right? So that's a pretty small area. If you think it's larger, smaller, whatever, let me know. We'll make some changes. While Summer and Wildfay seek to dominate the Cajun clans in the Bayou. Of course, that's now 3 things that are kind of coming in conflict outside that area, right? Summer, Wildfay, and the Cajun clans. They don't want to be dominated by anyone, but they have to deal with both of these courts. Red Court vampires seek to increase their presence, while the many practitioners seek safety. We said we're not doing the Red Court Wizard War, but Red Court vampires still prey on just about anyone. And look, practitioners make great prey because if you can convert them, you brought their abilities into the fold.
Yep. And vampire's gonna vamp.
Yep. And of course, then you have the Fulmore. Fulmore, what are they going to do? Terrible, terrible things. Mundane status quo, tourism, corruption, crime, and blame shifting, or in any other words, same as every other American city. I mean,
well, I think it's same as every other American city, but more.
Okay.
Right?
Sure. I can add but more. I have added but more. And I've saved it, so that's done now. Next, I tried to take the various groups that we had discussed. That you all said, hey, these are the ones that we see in the city. And there's who kind of wants to maintain the status quo. And let's be honest, that supernatural status quo that we've come up with, I think this is maybe where your question was going before we got started, Robert.
Yes.
Was the status quo in this case is conflict, which means that the status quo, there's some instability in the status quo.
Yes.
At least in terms of the supernatural, there's definitely some instability going on. And I think that's pretty good. I think the culture clash suggests a degree of instability, right? So I tried to take what you guys had given me and kind of get them on this map. Obviously, that the top half is, who's in the dark, who does not know what's going on in terms of the supernatural. And tourists are going to be absolutely in the, they know absolutely nothing. I also put them furthest over to the left for who wants to maintain the status quo. Because for them, why are they tourists? They're coming here because of everything they've heard. And if things change too much, that's not the experience they're trying to buy. City government always says it wants change. So, whether it does or not, I put it in the mostly status quo. Of course, Who Wants to Rock the Boat? We had talked about some gangs, I think, controlled by the Red Court vampires. So, but the way you guys described it sounds like they weren't really in the know.
Right.
Right?
Okay, so they don't know they're being controlled by Red Court vampires.
That's what you all had said.
Okay.
Do you want them to know?
That's no, I didn't remember what we had said about that. That's fine. So is it so they might know like a particular vampire who they're in contact with, but does not know that that person is a vampire?
Yeah,
Correct?
that's probably about right.
And
Yeah,
doesn't know that there's a community outside of that.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of them drawn by stories.
Well, in this case, these are probably just like gangs, crime, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The really seedy side of the city is controlled by the Red Court.
Right.
And look, in terms of drugs, the Red Court is based in Central and South America.
They make their own drugs.
If anyone is good at importing drugs, it's the Red Court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the middle, we haven't gone to adding yet.
To what?
We haven't gone to adding things yet.
We can.
Since we've talked about the university being a big part
Yep.
earlier today, you should put, the university students directly in the middle of Who's in the Dark, but between Rock the Boat and Status Quo.
Okay. I have added them.
Okay. And most of the community really is probably going to fall into that too, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyone who's not anywhere else in any other group.
Yeah, I mean, you could divide it up into the haves and the have-nots if you really wanted to, but.
I don't know that I do.
Yeah.
That's a lot of defining that's a lot of work. I just don't think I want to do it.
No. I understand. That's why I said.
Yeah. All right. So I've added them. If you want to, you can do the same thing on yours, Dan, but you don't have to. I put dead center the No PD Social Club, right? We know the New Orleans Police Department. I think you guys had said there's a social club that knows some of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they're perfect in the middle because they don't know what's going on. They only know some of what's going on.
Yeah.
And they don't know then, do they want to preserve the status quo or fix things?
And then the rest of the New Orleans police force is in the dark and wants to maintain the status quo.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, I think they'd be at the same spot the city government is, basically.
Yeah. I had assumed they were included there.
Yeah.
The level below them knows a little bit more about what's going on, right? The Venatorium Brom, right? Remember they are, what were they, again, librarians with guns?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we've brought this up before, and if you want to go in and add them directly on that line of Who's in the Know, tour guides.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. They would probably be on the status quo side for maybe the similar reason as the tourists,
Yep.
right? I mean, the tourists are how they make their money.
So, yeah, I would put them right to the left of the Venatorium Brom.
Or actually,
Yeah.
I would put them up one level. Just they're in that group that
Oh, okay.
they know a little bit.
Just enough to whet the curiosity of the tourist.
So would you
on the
put 'em
line
right
like
where
the
you see
police
Dan's
do?
cursor in terms of maintaining the status quo? I mean, they're basically directly below the tourists, right? Two of those boxes. Okay,
I think so.
done.
Now, since the supernatural status quo has so much conflict in it,
Yep.
what does rock the boat actually mean here, right? So my thinking was the status quo is anyone who wants to maintain the conflict would be status quo, since that is what's going on. But I don't see anyone who is involved in one of those conflicts and wants to come out ahead. I don't think that's necessarily rocking the boat by trying to come out ahead, right? So rock the boat would be somebody who's from the outside of those conflicts trying to do something to them or trying to make something else happen.
Or maybe even the underdogs in the conflict, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah, that's fair.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't put the white court on here. I'm just not sure where they should go.
I think different families might end up going different places.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're all.
That's why I'm not sure which way they should go. I mean, they can always be in the same box as the Cajun shifters and the White Council.
Yeah. Well, I think the Bacchanals are going to be like down near where the summer court is.
Okay.
Right, because they're pretty strong in the city. They want to maintain that.
And that's the that would be House Besh, because that's kind of a Greek name, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So put them what to the left of the Venatorium Brorum. For them, gambling, they have what they need. They're not looking for more.
I mean, they might not mind expanding their influence a little bit if they can, but they're probably pretty powerful already. So if they maintain, that's good for them.
Okay. What about Wraith Degree? Where do you see them? They next to the summer court?
They might be
Probably.
similar, right? Because they would be the other sort of.
It would be entrenched here.
Yeah.
They are.
Exactly.
Plenty of food opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The other two are probably trying to get more dominance.
Oh, sorry. Scavis are the ones running the gambling, not Besh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that leaves the houses for fear and gluttony. Maybe we should ask, are there any White Court vampires who are looking to rock the boat? I'm not sure.
I don't think there are, now that we've gone through them.
Yeah. They've all kind of got their thing going on.
They do. If they're looking to rock the boat, they're looking to rock their own boat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. Is I think there might be individual vampires who want to rock the boat, but I don't think any of the houses as a group necessarily do.
So I might just put the White Court vampires as a whole underneath the Venatorium Brorum.
Yeah.
Right? They're not as far into the don't make any changes as the summer court, because again, there's going to be more individuals and 4 different houses to compete. So excellent. I put voodoo practitioners. They're not completely in the know, because some of them, it's just their faith, right?
What I was thinking, right above them on the dotted line, you could actually put non-voodoo faiths, non-voodoo mystic groups, New Agers.
Okay. In the same box as the social club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the same box, one box over.
Which direction?
Toward the voodoo practitioners.
Well, the voodoo practitioners is one box away from the social club.
No, you've got two.
You have them twice.
I do?
Yeah.
You have the Voodoo, and then you have the VODOU.
They are different groups.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying the ones that want to rock the boat, I would put some of the non-voodoo.
The New Agers over there.
Yeah, the New Agers over there.
Okay.
And, the truth is, religion might still be over on the rock the boat because they're trying to protect people.
So put the Catholic Church in the dark here? Or are they in the know?
No, I would put them on the dotted line right above the Loa.
Okay.
Because they know weird stuff happens in New Orleans.
Okay.
I could, there might be, well, so there's a couple of ways of rocking the boat. You might have the, the ones who are like trying to get people to stop with all the drinking and the gambling and things.
Yeah.
And then you might have the ones who are a little more in the know, who do want to like might not be so cool with all the vampires and fae and things running around.
Yeah, stop.
No, probably not.
The ones that are not in the know, the ones that are in the dark are like, stop your hedonistic ways.
Yeah.
Now, we had talked about the Venatorium Brorum here being run by a convent of nuns.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do that, they're operating separately from the church?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
And they're looking to maintain the status quo.
Because they know something.
Say that again.
They know something. They're more knowledgeable than the rest of the church in terms of what's going on here.
Yeah,
they know that they have to keep the status quo.
They know it's not just
for it to change.
Yes.
They know it's not just a bunch of people acting a certain way. That there's actually things in the dark that are feeding off some of this.
Yeah.
And if if you get rid of it, then they got to find something else to feed on, and that can get dangerous.
Or you create a power vacuum and
something worse jumps into place.
Like the Fulmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right down the middle, the White Council and the Cajun Shifters. And actually, I'm going to put the Cajun Shifters above the White Council. This way, the White Council are at the very bottom of the list for who's in the know.
Yeah.
And they know the most.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
always think they do.
They know more than the Ventori Umbrorum.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, okay. Oh, the Venatorium Brorum are more about the books. The White Council would know like what's actually going on in current events.
The White Council. So if you were to look at it, the Venatorium Brorum, they are they're your engineers. The White Council are your PhDs. And Dave is like, wait, but I'm both.
I mean, we
I'm
we could argue what computer scientists actually are, but I certainly know people who are like unquestionably engineers and PhDs.
Well, I was thinking of it in terms of Big Bang Theory, how they always gave Wolowitz a hard time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. He's competent at what he does, but he didn't really compare to the other three guys. There was definitely a difference there, and they always let him know that. So, that there may be kind of probably a flawed analogy. The Venatorium Brorum, they are librarians, but they don't necessarily have any magical ability. So,
okay,
their records they can protect, but it's going to be harder for them to protect their records and pass knowledge down than it is for the White Council. Now, the Venatorium Brorum they're able to better move behind the scenes. They tend to be a little bit more secretive than the White Council. So most of the time, the bad guys may not know who is who a Venator is.
Right. Okay.
And those Venators are using their influence to, have drug seized that the Red Court vampires are shipping in and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Different type of way to protect mortals. So that may be a little bit easier.
Yep.
Rocking the boat, Red Court vampires, I think is pretty obvious based off of what we said, right? And that's why they're in the same column as their gangs. They know more. And then I put the Wild Fae and the Fulmore kind of all the way to the right. They are absolutely in the know, and they absolutely both kind of want control. Oh, the squares above those. The Voodoo, Vodou, is Haitian Voodoo. And we had said we liked the idea of an influx of Haitian Voodoo here. which is a little different from Voodoo.
Okay.
We may not need both, but it just keeps us, guessing a little bit.
Okay.
And having the two different families of Loire is it just lets us do more stuff. Have some the Loire can be these are real supernatural beings.
So are the other families of Loire, do we want to put them on here somewhere, or are these two families here because they're very present and involved in the city, and the others are a little more hands off?
Thinking. That's actually what I was thinking. It was just they're the ones who are a little bit more present.
Okay. It might be interesting to have like one of the other family of Loire who might not be at the exact same position on this chart.
Okay. Have any of you guys done much reading on them?
It would be the Rada.
Yeah, the Rada might be a little more towards maintaining the status quo, for example.
Oh, okay, that's the one with Papa Legba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you all are thinking they're what? Obviously above the summer court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're all the way to maintain the status quo, but they're kind of somewhere in that quadrant.
Okay, well, we could put them underneath the Venatori.
That'd be fine.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry. I did not get a chance to mute. Sometimes it catches you by surprise. All right. So I'll save this. I'll upload it to each of you again. So it sounds like we like kind of where everyone sits, and this means you as players have a pretty good idea of what's where.
Mm-hmm.
Your characters, that's going to be up to you. If you have a high lore, you have a good idea of all of this, right?
Right.
If you don't, well, you know some. What's that? Oh, you're planning on having a good lore.
I'm a wizard. I
Oh, that's right. You did say you were thinking about that.
No, that's
Well,
not what I mean.
Okay.
So you are going toward the spellcaster.
Yeah. I've never done it for Dresden, so I think I'll have a lot of fun.
I think you will.
You will.
Robert, you were thinking an investigator.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You had decided. So, yes, we did talk a little bit about characters that you had to leave early. And we know Dan is going to be some sort of incubus.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
Dave was looking at a couple of different things. He liked some of the Changeling, Emissary Knight, or even a Emissary of Power, right? Just there's a whole bunch of things you can do in there, maybe even a Scion. For Michael John, I think we settled on a Swamp Mage. So you would set Earth, Water, and Spirit.
yeah.
I mean, if you think about it,
It works.
yeah, Mage from the Bayou, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all you had said was probably you weren't sure exactly what supernaturally, but you were going to be part of NOPD.
Oh no, I know where I'm going.
Oh, you already do.
Oh yeah.
Dare I ask, or do you want to say that?
Yes. He is going to be a Scion.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to pull up my basic history of the character that I had started working on. Yes, his mother is Melpomene, who is the muse of tragedy.
Okay.
And I mean, all of her daughters became sirens, and so all of her sons can inspire, but we have no creativity whatsoever. And so his idea behind being a cop and an investigator is he's read a lot of noir. He's read a lot of detective stories, and so he emulates his favorite detectives.
Okay. Well, I'm taking notes, So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you think about it, we're covering the magic stuff, we're covering investigation. I hate to say, let's boil it down to roles, but a commander in a game like this, right?
Yes.
Dan is definitely saying, I'm going to be a face. Dave, you are free to do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think we got him covered. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of maybe doing something that would have some of the creature features open to me.
Okay.
But I don't want to go for like the raw power brawler kinds of things.
You don't want to be a werewolf like werewolf was?
I am no, I am not looking to be werewolf. So yeah, not like a combat beast or anything.
Okay.
Pun not intended, but if I had thought of it, I would have.
What, werewolf?
Yeah. Not a shifter though, but I might go for glamours or something so that I can blend in as a human.
Oh, okay.
If I wouldn't otherwise.
Well, being a changeling can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. It does look like some emissaries of power could be physically transformed also, which is why that's maybe also on the tail. So the question is just like, was I born this way or did I become this way? I guess so.
Okay. All right. We'll see there. We were already starting to dive into some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Locations. We talked about a whole bunch of places, and I barely got any of them on my sheet.
Ah.
They were just so many.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, oh no, I got 9. I only got 9 because I can only fit 9. So I tried to pick some of the ones that I thought you guys might. I don't think I may have been actually just going alphabetic now that I'm looking at it.
So the one I have does not have all 9 filled in.
Which one?
Yeah.
The sheet.
I have one that's all 9 are on.
Yeah, they're not completely filled in, but there are names in each slot.
Yes, there's something in each slot, but nothing is, with one exception, nothing is filled in. So here, let me share my screen.
Oh, those are the names. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, they are. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, right, 1039 Royal Street is the home of Jacques Saint Germain, right? The White Court potentate. Give his house the aspect I think you guys had said of anything goes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea there, he is trying to keep the peace between the houses, which might be a little surprising. I don't know if that works. It might also be keeping the peace is good for him. And it might be that he only is pretending to keep the peace. I don't know.
Well, there
I
are
have
hidden
one
masters.
question.
He's been around a while and knows what happens when the peace is not kept.
Yeah. What's your question, Robert?
Do we have any place for the voodoo practitioners?
I have the Museum of Death in New Orleans, if that works. Okay, you think it does. There's also the historic. Oh no, that's the convent run by the Venatori. All right. So the idea for the Museum of Death is going to be the Voodoo, New Orleans Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the Hotel of Monteleone, that was the hotel. Oh, did we lose Robert? Or did he just lean back too far?
He may have. Well, if his camera's still active, because
It is.
yours
No,
is
I
not,
realize.
and it's kicked it off my screen. So
What's that?
I said your cameras are turned off, or
I was trying to eat dinner while I thought you said turning off the camera though. Did
yeah,
it?
something's changed since last week, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
For some odd reason on my end, when you turn off your camera now, it literally gets rid of it completely from the screen.
Oh, that's a setting you have in your Zoom.
So
If you click on View at the top, I remember seeing it earlier today. There's a button that says hide.
So it's if you scroll the settings down, there should be one that says like show or hide non-video
Yeah,
participants.
hide non-video participants. Got it.
Yeah, so you
Cool.
want to not
Uncheck
hide the
that.
non-video
That's
participants.
your problem.
Appreciate it.
I apologize. I had a dog.
No.
No worries.
Look, Michael John was back and forth getting dinner off the grill.
And I was in the
Oh.
She decided she wanted to eat.
Sorry, I have to help my wife with something. What? Yeah. She's like, she's calling, and I'm like texting her back. So, yeah, I don't think she was too fond of that. But she's like, I need this information. I'm like, okay. So I just have to send this to her real quick, and if I don't, I get in trouble. All right.
Now, I have noticed that our little hotel here has apparently been in a lot of films and TV.
Or what? Oh, has it?
Yes.
Monteleone.
So what's a good description for it? Do we have one?
Nexus of Worlds.
Done. Some things are an easy sell. So yeah, and you had already suggested the veil is thin there. Do we have an idea for a person? Either a name? It doesn't. I mean, we can always come up with the names later.
Well, it's stayed in the family since it was established, according to what I'm looking at here.
Okay. What's the family name?
And Monteleone.
Monteleone. And okay, family. It's been passed down for generations.
The original, I said, the founding, I guess, was Antonio Monteleone.
So I don't think we want to make them vampires, though, right?
No,
No.
but an immortal sorceress or sorcerer, an
Immortal.
alchemist.
It says, since 1886, 5 generations of the Monteleones have dedicated themselves to making their hotel what it is today. The sparkling jewel of the
I
French
even like the
Quarter.
idea of it actually being 5 generations, but the family of ghosts, they're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
The family
because
never
the-
leaves.
Yeah, the veil there is thin. So the latest is what do we want? Man, woman. I think you said a woman a moment ago, or a man.
Man.
Okay.
The last name I have here so far is a gentleman by the name of Bill, but that was in 1964, so I don't know.
Phil.
Bill?
Phil is too plain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bill was the name of the... After his father passed in 58, he took over, so I don't know if he's still around now to take over.
Well, William, you know.
William's good, solid.
Or you can come up with like his daughter or something has taken over. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to literally be...
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the real person.
And hey, you know, she could have been named for, you know, the founder of the line, Antoinette.
Mm.
There we go.
Done. Antoinette Monteleone.
Let's see. Apparently there's a spirit there of a toddler named Maurice Berger.
Well, hold on. You're getting a little too grainy into the details.
Yeah, I just was looking up stuff here. I don't know if it'll help it or not.
Yeah. Not yet, because we still have a lot to go.
Yep.
So Antoinette Monteleone, what's her high concept? She's in the know. Her family has run this place.
Well, if the veil is thin, I think they're a family of ectomancers.
Okay. I like that. What's
The ectomancer guardian of the Monteleone.
So it's a hotel.
Mhm.
We have ectomancer doorman.
Oh,
You know, because the hotels always have the fancy ones have someone opening the door.
okay. So the ectomancer is the doorman.
No, well, they all are. The thing is, I don't know. Is it referred? I mean, it could be ectomancer door woman. I've just never heard of a door woman.
No.
But that's what you were saying in terms of guarding those gates. I was thinking, yeah, like like a doorman keeps people out who are supposed to be out and lets people in who are supposed to come in.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, is Monteleone, of course, people assume that's a last name, but is it a last name or is that a title?
I don't know. Does it mean anything?
Well, it means whoever is in charge of being the ectomancer doorman and keeping that job running, whatever it entails.
Monteleone just means mountain lion.
It does mean mountain lion. I kind of like that in terms of like guardianship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we like maybe ectomancer gate guards?
Yeah.
Does that work? Because then it's the whole. It's what you said. It's the family.
Mm-hmm.
Which they're, as focused practitioners. That's pretty good. I like that. Anybody like any objections? No. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
New Orleans Botanical Garden. I had put down the idea of Summer Court Stronghold. Anybody think it should be anything else?
I think we had already talked about that.
I thought we did.
I think we decided to add the Botanical Garden because we needed a Summer Court Stronghold.
That may have been, yeah. There is. I had an idea in a different Dresden game. Never quite got off the ground. Let me look this one up. Where I was like, there's. I have an idea for a Summer Court NPC who's the equivalent of the Lianen She from the books, right? Basically second to the queens in power. What do you think? Is that something that could work?
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the person for that location?
Yes. Yeah, it has to be whoever's in charge, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So I was like, that could be made to work. Let's see. I'd come up with a title, a Contessa. Never really came up with. Let me see. Did I come up? That one, I don't know if I like that. That was for a different.
I'm just going to say this because it's sticking in my head right now. But, Persephone, she just has to leave for 6 months out of the year.
So, does that mean that Persephone is Fae?
Well, she's the goddess of spring flowers.
Yeah, goddess is pretty high up there in terms of power level.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, let's face it, Odin is part of the Winter Court.
Oh, that's a good sell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So is Santa Claus, right?
Yep.
He said Odin.
That's right, the same person.
Yeah. All right. So, quick question: the Nexus of Worlds, Hotel Monteleone. I think that's a theme. I don't see that as a threat. I do see the home of Jacques Saint Germain. I think that could be a threat.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle.
With, I guess you could say, with the concept of the character I'm creating, it could be because of the relation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Persephone.
Ooh, I like that, Michael John.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I was looking up occult stores in New Orleans, and I found the vampire shop, and I'm like, that's going in the campaign.
Boutique de Vampire.
It isn't quite literally, we sell
The vampire shop.
It is a vampire shop.
Okay.
It's definitely.
I'm looking it up.
I don't know if it's still there. There's also a wedding chapel where you can be married by a vampire, a witch, a voodoo priest.
I mean, their website is still up.
Okay.
Unless you meant that place was. Now they sell curio. So, all right. So let's add this. We're
It's
gonna
a
have to
curiosity.
pull something out of here.
Right, it's a curiosity shop, right? But it's actually
It's
not
an
a curiosity
occult shop
Well, yeah.
more than anything, right?
The truth
Well-
is, I think we could pull the Saint Roche chapel out. I mean, it could
Okay.
become a place, but it's really a minor place.
Okay. And add the Boutique de Vampire.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Now,
I've done
does
that.
the Boutique de Vampire have stuff for fighting vampires, or is that stuff conspicuously absent?
Why would that stuff be in the vampire shop?
Well, that's
could've found
because it depends on who's running the shop.
Well, so that's a good question. Could this be an occult shop of people who are, we had talked about minor practitioners?
But you have the religious order of witchcraft there.
And it's true. So what do you want Boutique du Vampire to be?
I mean, I think that it's a front for a Red Court club underneath.
Okay.
So the garlic is conspicuously absent.
Exactly.
That's why I was asking, right? It's either a front for the Red Court or it's a front for some other group
That doesn't like the red.
that doesn't like the Red Court.
I mean, it does talk about tarot and voodoo that they have there as well.
Mhm.
But they're
They're New Orleans Red
it
Court.
looks like
so-
they have a lot of cutesy stuff.
Right.
So
until
more
you
for
go
the
to
tour-
Well, you
tourist.
don't want to be too
Until you go to the
conspicuous.
club.
I mean, you gotta deal with the tourists as well and keep them satisfied, and then you've got the stuff that's for real.
Right. I mean, and there are no basements, so above the shop is the Red Court Club.
Oh, it's right, no basements.
Right, not New Orleans.
All right, so the Boutique de Vampire is a Red Court front. All right, but still, I want to finish up on the botanical gardens, and then I'm going to come back down to that to your club. So I think the description is, very summery garden. Does Persephone have a second?
Oh, she would have to.
Right.
Mhm.
So do we want to make the face there her? Like, in other words, can the description be Persephone's winter home? Right? Because it's winter is when winter is when she's in Hades, right?
Yeah, so it's her summer home.
It's summer home. Yeah, that works because it's a summer court stronghold, so it's a summer home.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks. So we need an aspect, and then I like the face being her second or her lieutenant, because she's a goddess. She shouldn't just talk to you guys.
No.
No.
Honestly, it's wrong.
You're not on the calendar. You don't get in.
Right. You know what? Let me pencil you in for January.
Right.
So you have an aspect, or because you came up with Persephone. Yeah, it doesn't mean you own the rest, but
Yeah, I don't know.
don't know what.
Well, I mean, anytime I think summer court, I think light and glamour.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as an aspect.
Well, I'm thinking
Light and glamour. So light makes it a fairly safe place from a lot of vampire types. Glamour
means it could
No.
hide anything.
I can light and glamour. I can dig into that. There are things there for me as a GM to use.
So that's
That's the
for the
whole
aspect.
point.
I like light and glamour if you all do.
Hmm.
And then the concept, I think, for the lieutenant is kind of either executive assistant to the goddess or goddess's executive assistant.
Executive assistant to the goddess, I think, is better.
And obviously, she's going to be some sort of, beautiful she noble, right?
Yes.
So that's just making me think about, like, on a film crew, assistant director and assistant to the director are extremely different things.
Yes, this is assistant to the director. So we need to give her a Greek name.
Well, her Persephone's retinue was Hecate and somebody else. IACCHUS. So I'm going to my favorite myth sites.
Iacus?
Oh yes, this was. Yes, this was the leader in chief of the Etruscan mysteries. So, yes.
Oh, what was that name?
IACCHUS.
Iacus?
Yes, Iacus. It is. It's a Greek god of rich.
Oh, okay. So you want to make Iacus
Her second. Her major domo.
Yeah. Oh, I like major domo. I think I like that better than executive assistant. Right? Yep. Divine major domo? Or, well, that implies he's divine. He might be somewhat divine.
He's listed as the god of the ritual cry of joy.
That's very summer court.
That's very summer court.
The ritual cry of joy.
So he's always crying on the show.
I think it means more the exclamation of it, if I had to guess.
Yep. So what that tells me as the executive assistant or major domo, that they might not be officially the next highest on the hierarchy there after Persephone.
No,
but of course they have
domo
outsized power.
Yes.
Yeah, no, a major
because of their job.
domo is the steward of the house.
Right.
He's her butler.
Right.
Right? I mean,
right, exactly. So if a noble goes to visit another noble, the visiting noble is still a noble and the butler's still a butler. But the visiting noble is going to have to talk to the butler before they see the noble they're visiting.
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm afraid she's out.
Exactly.
I expect her in April.
Yes.
Okay. I like that because that gives me some things to play with. Excellent. That is, I think that's more theme than threat.
Yeah.
You know, and where we've said that the summer court is trying to kind of have some dominance in the area, that's kind of him. She's gone half the year. That gives him a lot of clout, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next was the old Ursuline Convent Museum. Do we want to keep that? I don't know if we need to.
I don't think we need to.
So what can we put in there instead?
Okay. Just because it's such a famous place, the Café du Monde always comes up to mind.
Okay.
The place that makes the beignets.
I like beignets.
So is it more of a bakery even though it's called a cafe?
Yeah.
No, they serve coffee.
Everything.
They serve coffee with chicory and beignets. That's all they sell. Well, milk, but
French market.
Oh, sorry. I was confusing beignets with the king cake for a second.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, they serve beignets.
Okay.
That is the home of the House Besh, the white court gluttony house, right?
That would be fine.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
And the face there, it might even be whoever's kind of in charge of that house. I don't know. He's a chef. He's going around glad
Well, wait, if you want to do it that way, then probably Brennan's would be a better place.
Brennan's?
Brennan's is one of the restaurants. It's one of the famous restaurants.
I mean, I'm okay with this. Is there a reason you like the other one?
Well, you said chef.
He doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be.
Okay.
I had only thought that for a moment, and I think I had gone with House Besh. I said as a name. I thought there was a famous chef with that last name. There is, and there is actually.
And where do they work?
New Orleans.
Well, where specifically?
I'm looking.
Or does it not say?
Chef. American Chef TV personality. Culinary heritage of New Orleans. Oh, and apparently a retired Marine. Well, that's interesting. Only if we decide to use this guy, which I don't know that we will. Probably should, now that I'm reading his wiki page. He's got like 10 or 11. He's got a whole bunch. So I don't know. Do we like? We did say that was one of the families that was trying to get a little bit more established. So what if we go with some sort of not down and out, disgraced?
Okay.
I mean, does that work?
Yeah.
You mean it's a disgraced restaurant, or that's part of the idea or the aspect?
By the white court. He was. I mean, if you wanted to base it off of him and go,
the person, the person, not the location. Okay. Yeah.
So let's say you say not him. He's disgraced because he got into a physical altercation.
Oh,
that's super good.
Yeah,
that seems unnecessary.
Right. That's it. So, disgraced white court vampire family. Everyone looks down on them. Well, let's face it. If they're about gluttony, they're doing well. I'm okay with this still being the Café du Monde, by the way. Right? And it may be even that they're disgraced. Why? Because, well, for the same reason that Thomas is with his family. Because he was grooming the kind. This family is doing the same thing. They're serving people.
Yeah.
Ugh. Now, the fact that they're eating as you're eating, but still.
But they're demeaning themselves.
That's it. They've demeaned themselves. So the whole family, that is disgrace. And he'd like, I think, to not be.
Yeah. And, I mean, the truth is a lot of the chefs around here could be part of this family.
Yep. Ooh, you should be power hungry.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
So power hungry white court chef foodie. We'll just go with the generic power hungry white court vampire for now, as his idea for first name.
Ignatius.
Ignatius, you said?
Yeah, Ignatius.
Okay. Hey, if he's power hungry and running that place, the whole family should be disgraced. But if he's power hungry, is he second in command?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It means that whoever it is that's in control of the house, will have something else going on. All right.
And they don't
He's-
necessarily have to be here in New Orleans themselves. The head of the house.
That's funny. So he can't even seize control because he's.
Well,
That would be so. The rest of the family still acknowledges the head of the house as the head of the house.
He's
but
his older
he's the
brother.
most senior one actually there.
and the reason he's in New Orleans is because
know.
they know what kind of individual he is.
All right. What is the aspect for the Cafe du Monde? What do we think that?
Frenzy.
Feeding frenzy?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, that puts that clearly in the threat category. All right, religious order of witchcraft.
Is that an actual location?
Yes, that is a real place in New Orleans. I think it was like the.
I got it.
There's a religious order of witchcraft. Yeah, I didn't make that up. It is the actual church of witchcraft in the state of Louisiana and trains women. Well, aspiring women.
X-Fest, a weekend of witchery in Old New Orleans.
Yeah, they have
Hexfest.
conventions.
Yeah, it was established in 1972 by Marie Oneida Topes, I believe is what way you pronounce all that.
Well, it depends on whether or not Dave is correct. It might be just Toop or Toop.
Toop, yeah.
He said, don't ever say the S.
Where is it? How is it spelled?
Toups.
Because I was also
it's
thinking.
like two.
Because I was also.
Just say it like the number two.
Yeah, Robert?
I was also thinking about just the Voodoo Spiritual Temple.
Is that another one?
That's another one in the French Quarter area. Actually, I think it's just outside of the French Quarter.
Let's see.
So do we like that better than the religious order?
Well, the reason I was thinking the Voodoo is only because that's a bigger thing than the witchcraft.
Yeah, I get you.
What were we doing with the Museum of Death?
I don't think we've gotten to it yet.
We put in voodoo or something on that.
We did a minute ago, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Oh, that's the Loire. Right? That's the
Guide.
It could also be the Haitians.
Yeah, the Haitians and the Guide.
Yeah.
Right? The Guide is Baron Samedi. He's that, yeah. I think that could work pretty well. All right, so all right, so religious order of witchcraft. What do we have for a description there? Or are we keeping?
Well, I mean, it's got to have something to do with the practitioners, or
Well,
could be a Paranet thing, or
well, that's the other thing is we also just said actually Voodoo Spiritual Temple. Are we getting rid of the religious order of witchcraft? Look, it doesn't mean they're not in the city. It just means they're not on this sheet. They're not the big nine.
Yeah, I see. I think the Voodoo is bigger than the witchcraft.
All right. So the Voodoo Spiritual Temple.
Let's see.
okay.
And that is kind of opposed, not completely by the Museum of Death, right? Because I don't think voodoo and voodoo practitioners of the two different types would really take issue with each other.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, you know, Protestants and Catholics in the 1500s,
Right.
you know. I mean, if anything, it's more like Episcopalians and Anglicans. The big difference being the country they're from. What's the description that we like for the Voodoo spiritual temple? Do we have one? And the only reason I'm not sharing my screen is I'm worried it'll screw up what you're showing, Dan.
Yeah, I'm just showing the page you've got.
Yeah.
I've not typed anything.
Well, you're not seeing as I'm typing things on it.
No, I'm not.
Right.
Whoops! I almost clicked end meeting. Rude. Well, here, let me
do that.
share then. Which screen is the screen? We'll just go to the PDF. All right, I think hopefully you see that.
Yes,
Yep.
we do. We got it.
So yeah, this I've been filling in all the stuff we've been talking about. All right, so Voodoo Spiritual Temple. We think this is a pleasant place. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So theme rather than threat. Does it tie to anything up above? I don't know that it does. It doesn't have to necessarily.
It's more the religious or spiritual traditions than anything else, it looks like.
Yeah.
It embodies
This is a
many.
place of help.
Yeah, it embodies many aspects of mainstream spiritualism, Catholicism, or yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was
Voodoo
gonna say
and
it's,
hoodoo.
It's part of the cultural gumbo, you know.
Holy ground?
Oh
ground.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a sense, it could be.
Yeah.
Catholic.
Well, yeah.
Well, holy ground doesn't have to be Catholic holy ground. It could be any
Yeah.
religion.
Because you
Yeah.
also have St. Louis, the St. Louis, or St. Louis Cathedral.
We have that down here. Okay, so do we not? We don't need two holy ground, right?
Yeah, that's true.
In which case, then, so
Hmm.
what is the Voodoo spiritual temple? What is that other than being a hey, we have it because we have a lot of voodoo here, right? What do we think that? What is that bringing to the game
Let's see.
in terms of an aspect? What suggests itself, or what's going on there?
Seems to be some
House of
teaching.
healing, spiritual healing. I don't know. I like the idea. I don't know why, but I like the idea of these being potential allies. Because so far we haven't.
This actually mentions the Loa.
What?
The Loa?
The Loa? Which
the Loa,
one?
the temple, in its description. Voodoo is still practiced in many locations throughout the world, passed down through oral traditions, resulting in slight variations and titles between cultures.
And the Rada.
Belief revolves around the mixing of energies of the universe with the omnipresent creator and that which is manifested within ourselves. The Loa act as intermediaries between the creator and human world to maintain a spiritual balance. And of course, there are various aspects of voodoo: Rada, Petro, Secta, Rogues, and
The different houses, the different families.
so yeah.
Rada will still have Bokor though, won't they?
Yeah.
Robert? They're going to be fine with Mambo, Bokor, anyone who practices. Yes, no. What do you think?
Bokor is sorcerer.
Yeah, but they're the ones who serve with both hands.
Yes.
So, if are the Rada could this be an aspect of balance somehow?
I would say yes.
Could be, yeah.
So,
Healing and balance.
yeah, is that the aspect?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
idea.
it's
Mhm.
even in the description is like symbolical of principled order. So
This-
balance works pretty good. Works real well.
Now, that's funny because we ended up putting them over here in terms of maintaining the status quo.
Mm.
So that actually works out pretty well.
How about the uh, center of voodoo? No, I mean, as the idea.
Oh, okay. They're lined up. Okay. And what do we have a person who's there and a concept? Their concept is right.
Well,
really.
currently in the description you have Priestess Miriam.
Do we want to keep that name or go with?
I think we should go with just a new name.
Mhm.
I like that. This way, no one ever sends us a C&D.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe don't use, at least don't use still living real people.
Right. Right.
The title at least is Priestess.
Oh no, I'm okay. I'm up 100% for priestess. Although I thought that was a mambo.
Yes, in
the-
Haitian.
The web, yeah. In Haitian, okay.
Oh yeah, okay,
That could
fair
be,
enough.
that could be too. I was just gonna say maybe the web page just translated.
No, he's right.
Also. Okay.
So priestess, yeah, and they are typically referred to as priestesses in New Orleans. So you are absolutely correct there. A French name?
Jacqueline is the first one that popped into my mind.
Works for me.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
And people who know her well, Mama Jackie.
Yes.
I mean, right? That's. She's a. I think I see her as a helpful mother figure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not anything that's really jumping out as oh yeah, that's a great aspect.
Well, she brings people in that she feels needs her assistance.
Yeah, the only problem is because it's center of balance. Balance is a thing. You guys won't always be the underdogs.
Oh, then okay. Then
Right?
the Y is grandmother. Is her concept.
Yeah. That works. All right. Boutique du Vampire. Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's a red court front is what it is, right?
Mhm.
It is a kitschy vampire store.
And the aspect is a bloody good time.
Sure is. Who runs that? Obviously, is the vampire who runs that white? Is that a red court noble?
There's a difference between who owns it and who runs it, though. You said it's got was this a kitschy store of some sort?
Yeah.
So would that just be the front person?
I pulled it up. You still see the PDF. You don't see my.
I see what you got up.
No, do you see right now my page? No, you don't.
No. Right now I just see.
Yeah, let me try changing this then. Let me go stop share and share screen. It's number 1. All right.
Because that's kind of got weird.
This here is the boutique. I mean, they tell you custom things.
Yeah, dolls, toys. I'm sitting here looking at the same page.
I'm thinking.
That's why I said kitschy.
Yeah, the person who runs it is probably not the person who is. Excuse me. The person who runs the store is not the one who is in charge.
That's what I meant. The person who owns it
Yeah.
as opposed to the person who runs it. How do you-
So what do we want to have here? The person who's in charge?
I think it's the person who is in charge.
And I think that's going to be whoever it is. I think that's the head court, the red court head honcho in town,
Right.
Yep.
right?
It's not going to be the guy who's got the fake face paint on and stands behind the counter all day long.
It's not. So
He's more of a thrall, I guess.
he's running a kitschy vampire store.
To play off of Dr. John, how about Don John?
Why is that a play of Dr. John?
Don, as in the Spanish name for Lord.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And Dr. John was the voodoo king back in the
Yeah.
day.
hmm
Okay.
So for the concept, is he
John,
out?
John 1.
What?
Yeah.
Is he out for blood?
Oh, yes.
That might be one of his secondary aspects. Hold on, let me put this on my thing.
Okay. Because they did have
Being,
the red court.
being that he's running a like a kitschy little vampire store below his, I guess
Yeah,
Red Court
yeah.
hangout. Maybe he's trying to.
That makes him clever.
I was gonna say maybe. I don't know how to actually put that. I know there's a phrase and it's not coming to mind.
Hiding in plain sight.
Something similar to that, but make the concept of vampirism more of a romantic, like Anne Rice did with vampires. Everybody, flocked to New Orleans because they wanted to run the risk of being ran into by the vampire Lestat. This is kind of the same thing.
He's a romantic vampire. In
He's-
in the traditional sense of the word, not the white court sense of the word.
Right.
Being
Well,
in plain sight.
he's using the store as a way of, bringing people to him, but not showing him the real face of what what owns
Yeah,
the place behind it.
that's pretty calculating though, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's hiding in plain. He's clever. I mean, it's a honeypot.
Mhm.
It's built where the food just walks right in.
He may even have a hand in a lot of the stories and novels that are written about vampires in New Orleans as well.
He was the vampire interviewed.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. How does that play into the concept?
Well-known vampire.
I mean, does he basically look like
Well, he when he's in public or whatever, maybe he takes on the persona of whatever he thinks a vampire should look like.
Yeah.
whatever he thinks people want a vampire?
Yeah, your movie-based vampires.
So there's very much a deceptive aspect to it,
Yeah.
which fits the store itself, right? And so he is pretending in public to be one thing, which may not be what he is in private.
hmm
So
Yeah, well-known vampire doesn't completely work yet.
No, I feel like it's missing something. That doesn't have any of the guile.
Put it in quotation marks.
No, because air quotes then basically are saying the opposite. So what are you saying? He's not a vampire or he's not well known, right?
Well, I mean, to the basic public, he's not really a vampire.
No.
I mean, basically, it's the sleight of hand. The look what's over here instead of what I'm really holding.
Yeah.
No, I'm not actually feeding on this person. This is all part of the show.
Yeah, I agree with a well-known vampire. It's not enough.
Celebrity vampire?
No, not necessarily, because that's really kind of the same. That just makes him about being famous. So far, we've discussed someone who's clever enough to the kitschy vampire store is going to bring people in. He has the club upstairs. He has the interviews he did where he's not giving away any of his real secrets, right? think about it. The Interview with a Vampire seems much more Black Court almost, but not quite, right? He's
I'm thinking Vampire Gambit or Vampire Bluff.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
I was just saying a good word is artifice, but the problem is when you make that an adjective, it's artificial, and he's not an artificial vampire.
No,
So,
yeah, but
That's not quite right.
What synonym for artifice?
Feint works
Deception.
well too.
Hmm?
Feint, F-E-I-N-T.
Ooh.
Pretense. Duplicitous. Guile, cunning, right? These are some of the words we've used. Guile.
Guile. He's a guileful vampire.
Actually, Dave, what you said, faint, I like.
Yeah.
But
He's
it's...
a fainting vampire.
Just yell at him.
Maybe
he'll
not
pass
phrased
out.
that way.
Yeah, they're not. He's not like a goat though.
Huh?
Like that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, yelling blood is
Well,
not
not
going to
that
make.
kind of faint. It is spelled different.
Let's
Differently.
see.
But there's subterfuge here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trap. So he has goals. He's a bit of a wild card.
Oh, he definitely uses a lot of the novels and stuff is like in his descriptions here.
Yeah, I think he's a red cord vampire with a plan. We know he's already here and he wants to rock the boat.
Yeah.
I mean,
just having a plan doesn't quite capture it all, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. This one's hard. He's definitely a threat. What is he up to? The problem is, I don't think anyone knows what he's up to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could just always be, mysterious red cord vampire. Or again, you said guileful red cord vampire. I mean, we could come up with one of these things and then just, put a pin in it and come back to him when someone's like, "Oh, I know what he is."
If you click on the About Us, the whole entire thing is straight in character. Marita Woywood.
Where is that about us?
You'll have to go all the way down. And there you go. She literally writes this as if she's been around since the 1700s and literally had a conversation with Anne Rice because she wrote a book about her kind.
Right. Oh, no, this place is perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
Well, they should really, their hours of operation, I think, leave something to be desired. But,
Well, I mean, that's the guy who dresses up who's got to work the front desk. After, 9 p.m. to 10 a.m., that's when the fun actually happens upstairs. But I was trying to look at the About Us to see if there's any kind of, inspiration that could come from it.
Yep.
now I think we might just have to, put a pin in, duplicitous red cord vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And come back to what it's going to be. Right? Because otherwise we'll spend another hour talking about this guy.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
we're careful about that. All right, the St. Louis Cathedral, we've said, is holy ground. Definitely more of a theme. Right?
Yep. Description, Roman Catholic.
Yeah, what sort of, how large a church is it?
In terms of how many people can be in it?
No, something in size.
It's not that big.
But it's the oldest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be one hell of a threshold. Unintended.
Very beautiful building, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like most New World cathedrals.
Meaning,
Wait, is this is at the cemetery, right?
No. This is in the middle of the French Quarter.
Oh, okay. All right. The okay. So completely unrelated other than by name.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
well, I mean, that does make sense though, right? So oldest,
And
Oldest
most
church in
notable.
town.
the oldest one in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, so
No, we put them in. They're not in the know, right?
that honestly, that's what I was just thinking. We have them here, but I was thinking whoever the space is maybe is not in the know.
No, there's a faction that is in the know.
Yeah, sure, but it
Yeah.
means whenever you guys go to Holy Ground and you're looking for sanctuary, he might be trying to shoot you out.
Yeah.
Whatever do you mean?
I wonder
Chef?
if the aspect should be holiest ground. Any cathedral could be holy ground,
Okay,
but only the
fact that
oldest
it's
one can be the
oldest,
holiest.
I keep whenever I hit tab, it takes me. These things are not in
It
order.
takes you back to the whatever empty space there is.
It's
Uh-oh.
it's
PDF
whoever built
creation
the
failed.
PDF initially and made it a form. They probably ran the form wizard and then dragged and dropped instead of putting them in order. You want to put them in order afterwards, otherwise it's
Well, you can reorder them after they're already placed. Too,
correct.
but I guess
Whoever
they
this
didn't
ones did it.
do that.
No. And you can see here, see how things don't line up perfectly well. It's still a good PDF, but it wasn't, it's not perfect. Anyway, all right. So the idea here is, again, it's, one of the oldest.
Sanctuary.
Yeah. Who would run a cathedral?
A Monsignor.
Sorry, I'm having an issue. I think I fixed it. You know what the issue is? I don't always know what I'm doing. That's what the issue is. Monsignor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're not going to go in and see the bishop.
Right.
So he's a doubting cleric. Not that he's doubting his faith, although maybe. Honestly, it'd be easy to doubt your faith in New Orleans. I don't know. Do we like that? I think we can. Do we have the name? Have a name?
Well, it's a Roman Catholic, right?
Yeah, but so they'll. It doesn't have to be someone who's from New Orleans, and in fact, maybe it's better if it isn't, because then it's someone who doesn't buy into voodoo and all the other stuff.
Right.
And that
Why?
might be his doubting cleric part.
I think a good Irish priest. Father O'Flannery.
Hmm?
Well, yeah, there is.
There is a bit of
community
Irish
there.
around town.
Then
Yeah,
you
but
could
I
go,
mean, he doesn't even have to be from here.
right. I mean, he could be from
That's true.
Ireland.
That's true.
Right. So let's put that in there. He's a doubting Irish cleric. Father, we want to give him a good Irish first name, right?
I don't know.
How
Yes.
Gaelic
Liam.
do we want the name?
Hmm?
How Gaelic do you want the name?
Oh, I think we can go fairly far. Dougal.
That's the first name?
That's the first name?
It
Oh,
can
sorry.
be a first name. I think it can be a first name. But hold on a second, because there are some good ones.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at an Irish name generator.
Mm.
Kaylin, Rory, Lorcan. Reese.
Ardal. Ardal.
And I think you had said a little while ago you had an O.
Oh,
Do you want an
Flannery.
O or a Mac or Mick?
Oh, I was just thinking of Flannery.
Okay. It works.
Now, if we don't want him to be particularly doubting his faith, just being skeptical of other things, we could change doubting to skeptical.
Yep, that works.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yep, skeptical Irish cleric is better.
That way we're not spending fate points to make him doubt his faith, just to make him skeptical of other things.
Yeah, no, that works. All right. Historical New Orleans collection. I don't know if that's one that we feel we need to keep on here.
Well, if it's the Venatori, we
Yeah,
should probably.
You're right. It is. We do need to keep it.
We do need that.
Yep.
Unless
this
we
is,
move them somewhere else.
Library of Supernatural History, really. That's kind of what it would be. And actually, I kind of like that as an aspect. What do you think? Does that work, or?
Mhm.
What, Library of Supernatural History? Yeah.
Let's see. Well, that's your screen, not mine.
And it would be an abbess, right, who runs the convent?
Yeah, but you would just call her mother. And it has to start with Mary.
Does it always?
No, but
No.
it's just.
Well, the reason I went with Joan was I was thinking Joan of Arc.
Yep.
Yeah,
So Mother Mary Joan.
that
Sure.
sounds good.
That Catholic enough?
That is very
It's pretty Catholic.
I wouldn't know.
All right, what is her concept? I mean, it could just be, something simple and descriptive, right?
Is she herself a Venatori, or does she just run the place?
I think she is.
Okay.
I think she's a,
Disciplined scholar.
Roman Catholic discipline scholar or just discipline scholar?
Oh, Roman Catholic disciplined scholar.
So that's yes, you have to, I'm going to help you. You're all going to learn, but you have to, you're going to learn by kneeling on rice. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
all right. Last is the Museum of Death in New Orleans. And that's going to be a wild, that could be a little bit of a wild place. Or it could just be very macabre.
Mhm.
It's the Geeter there. It can be both.
Apparently, we have one here too.
Yeah. And I mean, what is the aspect? Home of psychopomps?
Yeah, I like that.
Because that's what the Geed are.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Of course.
right? I mean, tell me if you think I'm incorrect.
No, that's
You
perfect.
are not incorrect.
What's his high concept?
Probably just the same as the description.
As a psychopomp.
No, just to celebrate. He just celebrates death in all forms.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be decent as a concept for the character himself, but
trying to think. I'm going through. I kind of would love to tie him to the ghosts of New Orleans.
Keeper. I mean,
I'm okay with that. Is he here because there's too many? Or is he okay with it?
I think he's okay with it.
what is he?
Oh, he's in which case.
Mayor of the City of the Dead.
What's that?
Mayor of the City of the Dead.
Okay. Which a psychopomp is supposed to guide souls to the other side. If he's okay with them being here, he's not really doing his job well, is he?
Exactly.
Does Home of Psychopomps work? I mean,
Yeah.
it does. Okay. Well, that was quite a bit. That's pretty good. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired now.
What do you want to take a quick 10?
No. I was being a smartass. So we started at 7. I'm assuming we're gonna just keep pushing on, but I mean, I guess. Do you guys need a break? We've been going almost 2 hours.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
Use
5
the
minutes
restroom,
would be nice.
Coffee or something. Ooh, coffee. Cassie, I'm gonna have some coffee.
Coffee, bathroom break, or something along those lines. I was thinking.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, we can do a quick 5-10 minute bathroom break.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in about 9 o'clock.
And we actually have some of these, by the way.
Oh,
So we'll
good
be
news.
right back.
Right on.
All right, we're back.
All right, so I filled in Persephone up here under Let the Good Times Roll.
Okay.
Still need some more names here, but we can get to those. We can kind of come back up. So when we were talking about the Don John, what a bastard. He does not like being called that, by the way, and does not like William Shakespeare because of that. Right?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I saw you giggling there. Like, wow, I got nothing.
Not much ado about nothing.
Yeah. I was making a big deal about it. Everyone else was like, whatever.
Yep.
No. I just watched a version of it with David Tennant and
Oh yeah,
oh God, I can't think of her name.
what was it?
She played Donna on Doctor Who,
Oh, okay.
the redhead.
Yeah. The old
Not Gillian?
Start.
Not Gillian, is it?
No, that's not Karen
No.
Gillan.
Catherine
Starts with a
Tate,
C. Yeah, that's it.
And she was. I'm guessing she was Beatrice.
and he was Benedict.
That's a weird combo. How did
Oh,
that?
it was great. It was amazing.
Okay.
I'll send you a link. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, please do. I'll tell you that we saw one. That was, I think, the first play we saw at the Atlanta Shakespeare Tavern was Much Ado About Nothing. One I had always liked very much.
Mhm.
And you're the way you nodded. I think you've been there.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, Dave, if you had ever been there when you lived here, the Atlanta Shakespeare Tavern.
I don't remember. Did I go once?
It's across the street from Emory, right? And you literally go downstairs, and it's tavern-style food. And you're sitting at a table, and you watch them perform. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
It is.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay.
It's definitely a fun.
If I have, it was only once, and obviously a long time ago.
Okay.
A fun experience.
And Dan, the way you're not responding, I'm thinking you may not have been there, but it's also a bit of a drive for you. The Atlanta Shakespeare Tavern.
Yeah, I've never been to there. I'm just doing some.
Every year.
I was just looking up the.
After reading some of the Shakespeare stuff again, because I'm a theater again.
Yeah,
I would.
They're not doing live. Their performances that they're doing right now are streamed.
Right. So
They're streaming them live, which to me isn't the same thing.
Right.
Mhm.
But hold on one second. But when I don't remember what the line was, but Benedict was talking about how handsome and great he was,
Mhm.
and it's super duper quiet, and my wife just like kind of does this snicker, snort, giggle, and he just goes like this, glowers at her, and everyone busts out laughing. All right, good night. All right, go to bed. There, she wanted to be on camera. That's why she was ghosting behind me. Oh, she's gone.
Putting the link on Discord, by the way.
Thank you. All right. So, do we have a name for our White Council law professor?
Well, oh God.
Well, how old is our white court law professor?
The way we had talked about it, I thought he was kind of on the older side, but it doesn't mean that he looks older, right? But he's a full on,
I mean, the truth is, I'm tempted to pull the name of the professor from Paper Chase.
I'm afraid I don't know that.
Oh, it's an old movie.
I thought that because I've seen references to it.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be that old. The music is by John Williams.
73.
I get that it's old. It just John Williams has been around forever.
He has.
He did movies in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I mean, it's an obscure reference, so.
Yeah, no. So, do you want to do a combination of some of the names from that? James Bottoms or Timothy Hart? Or Lindsay Graham. Oh, some of these are good names. I have not seen this movie, by the way. It's not set down in New Orleans, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
They're in Harvard.
Okay. I like the tweed jacket. I think that looks about right.
Yeah.
What, Harvard Law School? Never heard of it.
Actually, Thomas Hart, I like that. Or, even
yeah.
Lindsay Hart would be fine. But
Okay.
I mean,
We like Lindsay
the
Hart better
tweed
than
suit.
Graham Hart.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think the LINDSEY is there a masculine or a feminine spelling for Lindsay?
Maybe. Let me hit the Googles real quick.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. So Lindsay, spell with an A, comes up Lindsay Lohan. You spell it with an E, it comes up Lindsey Graham.
Time to get rid of these people.
So I think
Okay.
with an E.
Yeah.
Now let me go look up the part where it talks about the relationships, because that is just slipping my mind what goes in there right now. So we are page 41 or somewhere around there. Okay. So it gives it's actually people. So Lindsay Hart, does he know any of you? He knows you. He has to know you if you're a swamp wizard, right?
Yeah.
What does he think of you?
I'm an awesome person. Everyone thinks I'm an awesome.
But are you educated?
Yeah, I'm educated.
So
Are you
points into that's more than just lore. Lore is what you know about the magic world.
It would be scholarship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a wizard. I gotta be smart.
They're not.
I mean, are you formally educated though, or did
That's
you
it. Are
go
you
to the school of hard
formally
knocks?
educated, or is it I done graduated high school?
is it book? I guess what's the phrase? Book smart or street smart?
Yes.
Okay. You want both.
I do want both.
You're going then for a pretty traditional wizard. Swamp wizard isn't really, unless swamp wizard is like your background and you're kind of ashamed of it.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to talk about my family.
I heard an aspect in there,
Yeah.
right? You heard that background aspect?
heard
I
it.
like to talk about my family. You want to write that one down?
I'm writing it down.
All right, so he knows. We'll just have to put your initials for now, since we haven't done that. Does he have any other relationship? You said you think he's fond of you. I don't know. Is an old wizard going to be fond of anyone, really?
No.
Well, I'm a young wizard.
Still not gonna be fond
You
of
might
him.
be.
All the more reason not to be fond.
Yeah.
They could be secretly fond.
Okay.
That's true.
So then I can't spell that. Proto.
Too easy to believe, right?
Hey, just hit that little red line. Let it spell it for you.
Oh, that's I was
Yeah.
looking for it, but it didn't give me the whatchamacallit, the thingies.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My character would have no reason to know the law professor. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
except
Well, is this-
for being
is-
in the police.
Yeah, you
but
would know him, but maybe not as a
Yeah.
council. No.
this
Is
would
this-
not be a relationship.
Is this only PCs, or could this also be other NPCs?
It could be anybody.
So,
Okay.
I mean,
And that was the example I was just looking up, which you guys, I think, all have the book. So tell you which page we're going to go to.
What's the trouble?
Just for looking at, we'll get to the aspects in a bit. So this is page 43, which you're not going to be able to see because of the background. But it says Vasiliki Legios. It has these relationships. Alexander, his niece. So these could be some people we've already spoken about, or these could just be like, put this on here. What's that? I don't know, Rod. You go figure it out. Or it can be I have this idea. Where for relationships, I'm okay with anything goes.
Well, he would definitely know the head of the Venatori.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I mean, being
yeah, they would get along because it's
They're both scholars.
yeah, on good terms with Mother Mary Joan. Okay.
And he could be keeping an eye out on the voodoo priestess.
Watching practitioners.
Yeah.
Okay. That works. This one we have to talk about and decide if we keep it at all. So you had all mentioned, I think it was you, Dan, who had mentioned the Carters, right?
yes, John and Wayne.
Yes. So I put them on here as hidden masters, red court bosses, but then we came up with Don John, and those two things might be at odds.
I don't know. Don
I'm
John
okay.
could be John Carter.
Yep. Could be John Carter.
Could be one in the
Doesn't
same.
mean he gets along with the others.
Could be. So it could be he's one of them, or these could be his boss, and he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Or he could be one of them,
Could be.
right? So it's a question of how would the Carters feel about Don John? Is he one of the Carters?
Is the Carter's motivation to organize criminals?
Well, someone has to do it, and
Yes.
it's not going to be Don John.
No.
And we had already talked about gangs run by Red Court vampires.
We had. My thinking was that, at least for the Red Court as a whole, right? Organizing criminals, running the gangs, that's a means to an end. That's not what they're motivated to do ultimately. Now, the Carters themselves specifically, I don't know. Maybe this is like their gig. So that's what their motivation is.
But if we also do it with them, Don John being one of the Carters, then it's basically they've divided up the duties. You know, one brother is dealing with the organized crime and gangs, and the other one is
What's the other one's name?
Wayne.
What?
Wayne.
He's the Red Court boss. He's in charge then. Do we like he's organizing the criminals to start with? Kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's more the bloodless version of the Red Court than his brother is.
Organized criminals and
Now, if he is the boss, Red Court, yeah, and ... right? There's something else. It's a hidden master. So we don't know.
Aaron or no?
Baron.
Baron works.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to
And
be a
then-
lot of barons in town.
And then Don John is definitely one of his relations. And I'm just going to say this, since they're dealing with he's dealing with organized crime, my character then would know of them.
Oh, they have you met them before?
I'm going to suspect that yes.
Okay.
Would you know that they're vampires, though?
Sure,
Well,
everybody-
you're pretty
you all know they're
supernaturally in
vampires.
tune, though. So probably.
Okay. You don't get along with them, I'm guessing.
I'm on the other side of the law.
Okay. Since we don't have character names, I'll fill in the brackets later.
That's fine.
And they'll have relationships with some of the criminals, of course. I don't know if we need to make a mortal criminal boss or if that's just a lesser character we leave in the background,
I
though.
think that's lesser in the background.
Lesser? Okay.
Yeah, we discussed it last week not to do any like Johnny Marcone characters.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So boss might not have been the right word, but like, because these would be more like street gangs. But
Well, there'd be street gangs, but all of them would pay some sort of homage to the Red Court gangs,
Yeah.
I would assume. Not knowing they're paying homage to the vampires, they just know that you cross this boss, your ass ends up in the river.
Yeah, and the truth is, the voodoo people may have some gangs of their own.
Yeah, a voodoo posse of sorts.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of different factions.
right. They might not have captured all the gangs. There might even be a gang that is like somewhat at odds with them. Like they were very specifically like, no, we're doing our thing. We do not want to work for someone else or whatever.
Yeah.
Could be there.
All right. So you'll notice though, most of them not filled out.
Right.
You've
Okay.
mentioned a few times, and I want to make sure that we get this on here for you, Dan. You want the Rougarou? Is he a person, or is it just leave it off and surprise us later, Rod?
I mean, the only thing I find about the Rougarou is he's just a swamp-type creature that looks like a werewolf. Is what the description is. So I don't know where to go from that. I was trying to look up something. Well, here I'm trying to scroll your page.
I'm thinking it's a wild fae.
A wild fae shifter. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. That's why he's been around so long.
Hmm.
Now, if it's a wild phase shifter, could be some people could mistake them for
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that
a
quite a
werewolf
bit.
shifter or whatever. Yeah.
Which we had up here. We didn't know what we were going to do.
Ah.
Fae shifter is
Hmm.
our concept.
And then just the name is the Rougarou.
I like that. I like that quite a bit, especially if that culture clash are in the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So he's also going to be. So his high concept. Well, we just said what his high concept is. Right, wild face shifter.
Hmm.
It's okay. This is the first thing that we've really duplicated, right?
Hmm.
His motivation is what?
Protect the swamps.
Protect the
The
swamp.
bayou.
From city encroachment?
Well,
For man.
From
What?
For man.
What about from summer?
And from summer.
And from summer, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or any other supernaturals who
supernatural threat to the
are
bayou
not
itself.
the kind he would prefer. Whoever that is. Obviously summer. Possibly
my
there are
bayou.
others.
does that sound right?
I like that.
I think that's an aspect, right? This is mine.
Yes.
So that there's protection in that, but there's also ownership and kind of and that would be cause for conflict with the Cajuns that are out there.
Hmm. And I'm just going to say this. This is another one. If Michael John's character came from the swamp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was also thinking that maybe he knows Lavera's mother.
Who's?
My character's mother.
So
Because she went into hiding, she'd have to find some place that she could be safe, and that could be the place where...
because you had said you grew up in the bayou.
Well, I grew up sheltered and hidden, and I was thinking more of the bayou would probably be the best place to hide me from whoever my daddy is.
And you think that so the Rougarou is someone you've met?
I might not have, but he would have known my mother. That's what I'm thinking. She went to him for protection from and hiding. That's all I was thinking.
So he's not a bad guy, but he's a bad guy.
No, he's not a bad guy. He's a fae.
He's a bad guy if you piss him off. If you encroach on his territory, then yes, he'll be considered bad.
And look, he protected your mother, which ultimately protected you.
Yes.
Aren't you glad he did you that favor?
I'm young, so probably not.
What's that?
I said I'm young, so probably not.
I know, but still, that's a big deal.
I
You know?
So like I said, I don't know if I would have met him, but I do know that she would have.
No. Don't worry. He'll wait to collect. He'll wait.
I actually named my character.
Oh, good. Is there any other relationships that we think he has? I mean, we know he's at odds with Cajuns.
Probably
And-
say he's at odds with some of the city vampires as well.
I don't think they'd be going out there.
Some would.
Why?
Well, I mean, dumping
They're going out there
bodies.
there's only one reason that any vampires are going out to the bayou.
It's usually to dump their victims.
That's it. That's the only reason they're going out there.
And he gets tired of them dumping their trash in his.
That's compost.
Or
I guess
does it
so.
because he's a shifter.
Now,
Yeah,
some
you're
of the
right.
vampires could have interest in further urban development, though,
We
which
wanna-
is not going into the bayou. The
We
way
want to
we
build
would
a.
think of
We
it,
want to
but
build a
would
casino
definitely be
here.
approached.
We want to build a casino right there. It's a perfect
Yeah.
spot.
One of the white court.
But anyway, you can just put that. Anybody who wants to encroach on his property, but that falls right inside the motivations.
That's kind of captured under
Yeah.
this is my bayou.
So
Yeah,
no
yeah,
need
that's
to.
This is my bayou. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Excellent. I like the Ruguru quite a bit. I was originally thinking just some sort of nasty critter, which is what I built, and now I'm going to have to go back and make changes. But yes, I do already have a. Actually, I guess since we're making them public, I can go ahead and show that to you guys. I'll have to find a different image, and I don't know. Does that show you the worksheet for him or no?
All I see is still the
Bio
city
and
sheet.
info. Just the
We're still
picture?
on the city sheet.
Yeah, we still see the city sheet.
No. I showed it in roll 20.
Oh well, I mean,
Oh.
I
Um,
have to go back to that.
Yeah, it only shows.
Yeah, I see it.
he's very-
So
Oops. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can.
Not yeah.
Ooh. I mean, he doesn't have to not look like that. There's no rules on what a wild fae has to look like. But
That's true.
there are several pictures and drawings that are out there about the.
I think that was one of the ones I had found it a while ago, and I'm like, he's in there. And then I'll show you another one that I had already planned on having in here, and then we're all like, yeah, sure. So there's the other one.
oh, it's
Baron
Baron
Samedi.
Baron
Samedi.
Samedi.
We're always gonna need him, right?
Huh?
We were always gonna need him.
I mean, yeah.
Started talking about the blah. I mean, that was just one that was gonna be. Ooh, that'll be fun.
From the moment I knew Rod was a GM for a game set in New Orleans,
Why is
I
that?
figured he'd be in. Huh?
Why is that?
You seem to like him. He made an appearance in our other game, right?
No,
Didn't he?
not quite. It was I don't remember, but there was something, yeah, who kind of had come up to deal
Right.
with, what was her name? I forget her name, but it was cute but creepy. Was
Oh,
the
right,
actress
yeah.
that had that clued-in coroner or whatever she was before she got killed and brought back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I got the impression you liked him.
I think it's an interesting NPC.
Sure, he is.
And have some fun with. So we have the three houses of fear, despair, and gluttony.
But we do have the fourth as well. But I think
We
you already
did.
have dealt with that.
We did. We have her here, right?
Yeah.
Juliet,
Oh, okay.
Ms.
Wraith degree.
Yeah, Wraith degree. And of course, Jacques Saint Germain. By the way, by putting them here, we haven't put him in a house, right? That was kind of what he discussed.
Well,
I don't know if you guys know what he feeds on.
Correct.
He could be this weird one that feeds on a lot of different things.
Maybe.
he feeds on stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there was an idea I had going with it, but
Which is?
he's the mystery man. The one my mother's hiding me from.
Maybe. I mean, you're definitely white court.
Yeah.
So that's possible.
Oh yeah, there you are. Right.
Yeah.
And it could be more of the semblance of he feeds on everything.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if that would be well known.
Right.
Or maybe it is, which is why there's so many houses here, and they all really want his approval.
Mhm.
You know, do we have names? Do we? I don't know that we have to go with ones out of the original books, but this might be an area where we can, since we've gone with Malvora and Scavis, and they are in the original books. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, why not?
I mean, the truth is, all we need are first names here.
Yeah.
That's true. Because they're the face of their houses, right?
Yeah, like Paul Scavis or Pauline. I'm that's not really what I would like to have there, but just saying.
No, it just has to be
Yeah,
somebody from that family here, not necessarily the head of that family, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I like it being someone from, not the head. Because if it's the head, you'd expect them to be in charge here.
Right.
Whereas if it's
Right.
not, it's almost honestly, it's almost, I see Juliet as the head of a cadet branch. And I'm thinking these could also be either cadet branches or people who are trying to kind of get there. Does that make sense?
Oh, they might not. They're not the head of the entire house, but they might be the most senior person in the city. You mean?
Yeah, and really,
Okay. Yeah.
a cadet branch would be typically a branch of royalty, right? It always starts as royalty, who is descended from a younger son. Cadet branches have ended up ruling in various places. And look, you had two different cadet branches of the House of Plantagenet.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what that caused, right?
Right. No problems whatsoever.
Right, no problem. So
Anya.
female first. Male or female?
Oh. Well, I was thinking Anya, so female. If we want that name.
Sounds good.
Won initiative, and nobody else had an idea.
Yeah.
Right? White court is the high concept. Just white court. Something up and comer, right? Or no?
White court gambling boss.
That's I was just I was thinking it had to do with gambling. So white court gambling boss. Okay. Malvora. We haven't. Oh, sorry. And the relationships. The other white court.
Yeah.
That's obviously the big one.
Well,
they're probably would Scavis work with the Red Court because of bringing in drugs or against them?
I think they'd be with them.
Would they be enthusiastically with them, or is this just like a reluctant tactical alliance?
Well, I would think. I mean, if they're partners with the Baron, with Baron Wayne Carter, he is higher up in his court than she is in hers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would stick. And seeing that her motivation is spreading despair, I think having that lack of hope is appropriate.
Okay.
That this is what I have to do to get by. I know that the Malvora are opposed to the organized religions.
Yeah.
Just in general, right? Because what is the opposite? I mean, ultimately.
Yep, opposite of fear is hope.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Nikolai Malvora.
So we've gone with two. Well, Nikolai's more of a Greek name, although it could be Russian as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, Malvora and Scavis both sound maybe kind of Eastern European of some sort.
Davis has always sounded a little bit more Greek to me, and Malvora is definitely sounds a little bit Eastern European.
Could be.
Yeah.
And you could put him as a promising white court leader.
Is he? We have not associated any place with him.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I mean, there's a whole mess ton of haunted houses. Any of them would fit.
Yeah. So maybe instead of the organized religions, he is really he's associated with your tour guides. Remember your haunted houses, right?
He might be some of the ones that the tour guides in the know are sort of like, yeah, we'll bring you some people.
Yeah.
We'll get them warmed up for you.
What else? What else? Yeah, I don't know what other relationships he has. Other than, again, you know.
Also, the other White Court families.
Yeah.
If, let's see.
I mean, the truth is, he may actually know of Baron Samedi. Since we're talking ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't get along, though, right?
Probably not.
No, I wouldn't think so. Okay. That works. I think that works pretty well. And then House Besh.
I was going to say maybe also same goes for the voodoo practitioners for kind of the same reason.
Because they're not afraid of ghosts?
Well, yeah, and you know, they're you know, some of them are going to be interested in things like hope and healing.
Yeah, that's fair. So if he can find ways to make their lives difficult, he will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. This is a problem.
What?
See right here, these two things are putting in the same thing.
Ooh, that is.
That
Well,
means...
I don't know that Hades, Baron, Samedi, and Voodoo practitioners needs to be a house besh thing.
No, it's copying it. It's
not.
He's typing in one and it's going to the other.
PDF is named the exact same thing. Watch. If I...
Oh. Uh-oh.
Paste it over here, it's going to copy to there.
File broken.
There's a fix for it. It just means that I need to take an extra step. So let's talk a little bit about House Besh while I take that extra step.
Okay.
Which is going to be saving this and sending it to myself. And really, by sending it to myself, I'm just going to upload it to you guys in whatchamacallit.
Discord.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By doing that, it'll let me pull it down onto this other computer where I have
Editor.
Yes. Yep. All right. So in the meantime, what do we think about House Besh?
How about Caesar Besh?
Spelled this way or traditional Roman spelling? Because I've seen Caesar. So
Let's do the traditional Roman.
Okay.
AE.
You'd think I'd remember it, having studied Latin and Roman history all
I
those
can see.
years. You see, so we have to think about it. Caesar Besh. All right, what is he? He's White Court. What?
Is he the chef, or do we already make that person as
We already
make
made
fun of
him.
the look?
Yeah, we
That's-
did the
Oh,
disgrace.
Ignatius. Okay, yeah.
Oh, the White Court critic.
Dick to his younger brother.
He might be. All right, relationships is going to include Ignatius.
It absolutely is.
Um,
All right, so this is face motivation. There it is. That's the fix. Face relationships.
So I'm also thinking as we do these relationships,
Yeah.
we've sort of got different vampires doing things with each other.
Yep. We haven't put
to
you
each
guys
other.
in that yet.
And then we've got different fae doing things with or to each other,
Yep.
right? Fae and or gods and spirits, if you want to
Yep. Yep.
include the law in that category, I guess. I don't see any crossover. It might be nice if there was like just one or two little links.
Okay. Give me a moment and we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta close this one.
Okay. Rotate the PDFs.
Yeah, basically. Still, at least we got it done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it didn't save the relationships, but that's okay. We only just started talking about them.
Well, it's the other White Court families and Ignatius is what we have so far. Jerk to his brother. Yeah.
Right. So where then, right? So they kind of cross over with the practitioners. They're having a relationship with the Red Court.
I think
Where
they-
does Besh come?
I think
Well,
Besh has contacts with the city.
Hmm.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. They got some stuff with the
It's an
government.
eating city.
What's that?
It's a city where you eat. So
Which means
You gotta have
Okay.
proper permits, proper inspections, to have the open restaurants and such,
Yeah.
franchises, however you want to look at it.
that works pretty well. Which means if you guys run afoul of him and you're trying to get certain things done, politically it might be difficult for one of you on the police force.
yes.
Yes.
Sure, it could be random, right?
So
Good. We'll do a
So I was just thinking, so we didn't make a box there for the wraiths because we have a wraith above. I was just thinking the wraiths in Summer Court might be a little compatible.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, Wraith, you said in Summer Court might get along?
Maybe.
Okay,
I
why
mean,
is that?
fertility seems like a summer fae kind of thing.
Oh, it
And
absolutely.
that's not totally disconnected from lust, so I don't think that like guarantees that they would always work together in any setting, but if we want to make a connection here, that might make sense.
I can. We didn't put the Wraith degree down here, so I'll have to put that in my notes.
Okay.
I'm gonna just put almost friendly to Summer, because let's face it, They're white court vampires aren't friendly to anybody. They sometimes pretend to be friendly.
What if also, to make another connection, what if House Malvora is thinking about how to take advantage of the Rougarou, because I'm sure the Rougarou does cause a certain amount of fear.
So you think that's what?
Manipulate. Ooh, that's good.
Manipulating, yeah. Because I don't know that the Rougarou would necessarily be down for this arrangement.
Yeah, manipulating the Bayou conflict. Which, do we want to take this out? Is Malvora that into that much stuff?
He's a promising leader, which means he's arrogant.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, he is.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Also, manipulating might mean it ties into their goals somehow. Hating doesn't necessarily mean it's in their goals. They might just loathe those people.
So you want this to be opposed to?
Oh no, hating was fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, as far as them like getting involved in too much stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, manipulating might be related to their goal. Hating doesn't necessarily have to be. They might just hate them, and that's it.
Okay.
I feel like we need to have something here about the ghosts. It could be a medium. It could be an ectomancer.
So do you want to take someone from the hotel? Do a little bit more for Antoinette?
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of her people.
Okay.
And so she could have
This might be the doorman.
Yeah, this is the doorman.
Yeah, there we go. So the doorman, this would actually make more sense maybe also because the doorman is in some ways the public face of the building.
Yeah.
Maybe also has a connection to the tour guides, but it's not the same connection the White Court has to the tour guides.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't know if that means it's different tour guides or if just it's a different relationship that they have to them.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
At least.
Right. But they want people they want the tour guides bringing people around also.
Makes money.
Maybe it's more of a business thing than a feeding thing, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, the tour. Look, once you're already in the city, you're not changing the hotel you're staying at.
That's true. So maybe the tour guides
bring them by so they can see the place, eat in the restaurant.
Yeah, the tour guides want to get the guests, take them out on tours.
That's it. It's the tour guides want the relationship with the doorman.
Yes, that makes sense.
So we said this location, the veil is thin. She's ectomancer, gate guard. I think he's more than that.
Portal keeper.
What?
Sorry, when discussing what the hotel actually is, my mind came to portal keeper.
Actually, I was thinking he's a world walking.
That's it. I think he's a world walking doorman. And world walking is a specific power in Dresden files.
Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to easily cross into the Never Never. What's his motivation? He supports the family in the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm. But he wants to protect the rest of the world. I mean,
okay.
Support the family. Or protect the gates, or protect the city.
I like protect the gates, too. Okay. I like both.
The city is very inconsequential when it comes to the entire planet.
Yeah, I don't want to make it about the entire planet, though, for one reason, right? And this is something that you had said in Discord, Robert.
Yeah.
Please don't make it about outsiders again.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's why the world doesn't work. Because if it's on protecting the world and he's protecting doors and stuff like that, it very, very quickly becomes he's protecting the world as a gatekeeper of keeping outsiders out.
I mean, this could be gates to hell, to other demon dimensions.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still protecting, and protecting the gates can also mean protecting them in both directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is it. You guys over here, you guys over here. That's it.
No one goes through.
Yes. You
Right.
gotta keep them separated. That's the theme song. All right. Sorry.
I almost see him as a construct.
What, a golem of sorts?
I don't know. It's just something that came to my mind. It's like,
You said you think he's a construct?
yeah, of some form.
Hmm. You think he's a sentient construct? That's
yeah.
very different from world walking doorman.
Yeah, no, I like World Walking Doorman a lot more.
Okay. Wow, we ran out of letters.
Just, yeah.
You can just put that. We know what it means.
Yeah.
I would also put him with relationship to the ghosts.
Of course, yeah. He's still probably an ectomancer.
Yeah.
You know, he might even have a relationship with the Gee.
Yeah.
Now, none of you are looking at any of the ghost speaker power or things like that, are you?
I wasn't.
Okay.
Don't think so.
And then, okay. The reason I'm asking is, if so, then it changes maybe what he does, because you don't need to have an NPC and a PC who do the exact same thing, unless it's wizards, in which case they do things differently still anyway. Do we have a name for him? First name only.
I mean, Ralph comes to mind.
That is so mundane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not too mundane, I guess, if you think about some of the shows that have been out
It's
recently.
Ralph the
We love Ralph,
interdimensional
the
doorman.
interdimensional doorman. He's pretty cool.
I was talking to Ralph. Ralph, down at the hotel. Oh, you mean Ralph. That's what I said.
Capital R Ralph? Ralph.
You know, capital R Ralph.
Oh, okay. Well, what's going on?
Yeah. Excellent. I like Ralph. Ralph seems like a good guy. And, you know, if you try to get in the door, bang, zoom.
Yeah.
All right. Who else have we got? We had most of what we talked about or last week, we have on here somewhere.
Do we need any prominent non-supernatural folks just to gum up the works or whatever?
Mundanes.
Well, we do now, Dave.
At least they're not dragons.
I will say this. The Saints are like big deal in New Orleans.
Okay.
Yes.
So like the quarterback of the Saints or the owner of the Saints. I don't know what would be better.
The owner is going to have more clout, right?
Yeah.
It depends. In the business world, in the government, probably. Mass appeal to the public, the quarterback might.
Because I mean, I'm thinking charities, things like that.
Probably owner for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we go with someone from the Benson family?
Sure.
Is that who actually owns it or something?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
There's Bill is a made-up name, but you know it ties.
Yeah.
Right.
Works.
His motivation.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, the White Court, he probably doesn't know what they are, but yeah.
But yes, there's definitely some. If he cares about money and prestige, that's going to be House Scavis.
The government,
Yeah.
which or we could say city connections to use the same terminology as House Besh.
Sure. Yeah, this way it's the exact same. House Davis, city connections, anything else that suggests.
Now we have two different people manipulating the government, so we don't know who's behind it when stuff starts happening.
And the church.
Ah, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it doesn't mean he's necessarily faithful, but he goes to church.
Of course, he runs the Saints.
Puts on the airs.
Yes. Well, and he wants prestige.
Hmm.
Right.
High concept is bigwig businessman.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like alliteration. So what do we think? You said somebody to gum up the works. What do you think about a chief of police?
Do we want the chief of police, or do we want someone who's like one or two steps below them and is the most senior of the police, who might actually be a little bit in the know?
Maybe like a Leeds homicide detective or something along those lines.
No. You want someone who's not in the know, someone who's going to gum up the works.
Right.
Oh, okay. Which means they could gum things up for some of the police who are in the know also, depending on
Absolutely.
what the police who are in the know are actually trying to accomplish.
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with a lot of the things that are dealt with in New Orleans, like the death and such, then you'd probably be a homicide detective of sorts.
He is. I think I got this. Deputy superintendent.
Oh, superintendent. Yeah.
Superintendent.
Is that actually a title, or because that sounds a little British?
No, that is in New Orleans.
Isn't superintendent
looks like
just like
New Orleans
Oh,
has
well,
God.
they may
Internal
have some
affairs.
different titles than other places, because of course they do.
because it's New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
different.
The rank
Superintendent is the
structure-
face of.
Deputy Superintendent Lacroix.
Well,
Give
is
me
the
that next name.
face
LaCroix.
L-E.
CROIX, like the
Wow.
barely flavored water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the third highest rank. And that's someone who's going to be in charge of a bureau, which internal affairs.
Yes. Well, their high concept is not chief of police then.
Yeah, you're right. He's another skeptic,
Skeptical by the books.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to do that one.
Aha. Oh no, corrupt internal affairs. Uh-oh.
So-
That's just so bad.
I'm pretty certain we know at least one person who's got a relationship with this individual.
Yeah.
Infernal. No, we can't do that. You said
yeah,
that.
that's it. He's the face of infernal affairs.
Right.
Which
Definitely means he's really going to be gumming it up for the cops who are in the know.
Correct.
Especially if he's not in the know but has a relationship with the Red Court. Which
Yeah.
means he doesn't know they're vampires.
Correct.
He just finds them as a crime family that's paying him.
Yep, but
Yeah. He's got a relationship with the crime gangs also.
Well, it'd still be
that's
Red
all
Court.
right.
Could have put that in RCV
Yeah.
and crime gangs, since
Right.
we linked them.
and
Yeah.
then
House
finally,
Davis, yeah, the gamblers.
you have to add me.
Yep, Robert.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you actually on the police force, or are you like an independent
No,
investigator?
I'm on the police force.
Oh.
I'll
Okay.
do it.
I think maybe we'll make him out to get you.
Okay.
You're smiling like, ooh, this is so bad.
Yeah.
All right. I believe it or not, I think
I think we found this game's dragon.
What dragon? What?
At least for Robert.
The only thing we haven't figured out is the name of the Fomor warlord and a first name for the Cajun patriarch.
Oh, I had found a name for the Fomor, and I think I closed the page.
I'll get you a name for the other one.
For the Fomor? That's good, because I'm looking at like common Creole and Cajun names.
Well, Boudreaux's more of a last name.
It is.
Yeah.
How about Thibodeau?
I think those are also
Um,
Cajun baby names. you
Cajun
can
baby
actually-
names. Those are probably first names. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Armand
Luke.
Aubin.
Augustin.
What?
Luke. It's technically means famed warrior.
Oh, Loic.
Yeah.
Louis. That's probably pronounced Louis. Probably pretty similar to the French Louis.
Well, what I
It
said here
it says
a
it's
sharp sound like the popular Luke. Let's see.
Yeah, the C might actually be pronounced. That might be one of the exceptions where you do pronounce a final consonant in French. Louis.
It can also be spelled Loick.
Well, then it's definitely pronounced.
If they give you 2 letters, you have to say at least one of them.
Yes.
Dave's like, not really.
Well, not well. I don't know.
All right. And again, actually, one of you guys, he's either a really good guy or a really bad guy because we got that alliteration going.
probably depend upon where you're from.
You had a name for the phone war?
I'm putting a name in the chat.
Okay. How do you say that one? Octraloch?
I think
Actually,
it's Atrolok. Yeah.
that's kind of a that's not going to be how that's pronounced because that sounds Welsh. That looks Welsh. Right?
Well, it's Celtic.
Right. So that ACH, that LL is that's a different sound.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
blue sound, which I can't do because I can't roll my tongue.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
You could always do his father's name, which is Indech, Indech.
No, I'm okay with this.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce it. Because it stands for a voiceless alveolar lateral fricative sound. Can you translate?
Oh, you
that
mean the
for
double
me?
L?
Yeah.
It's an aspirated L sound, or is it no O sound? But you have to be able to roll your tongue.
All right. Well, I tried to get some help
That kind
on
of
the
rolling?
pronunciation, but Google Translate says voice output isn't available for Scots Gaelic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
right.
I would say just try your best.
All right.
none of us are going to know if it's wrong.
I'll listen to him and see what he says. I'll see if I can figure it out. But if not, it's I'll get it wrong, and who cares? Better yet, you guys will get it wrong, and he'll want to tear you apart for it. So 2 sessions, and we did all the stuff we needed to for city creation. There's a lot here. We still left a lot of stuff undefined, but I'm okay with that. I think you guys are too, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Finding out what's going on.
There needs to be some what do you
Room.
call it? Negative space, right?
I can work in the negative space. I like negative space. That's where I'll write in the negative. That's what I'll do.
Yep.
So I think next
Where
week
you find negative astronauts.
I think next week we do more.
next
character
week
stuff.
is we finish up the character, right? The character creation, which we know
Yeah.
really is going to be the aspects part of it. So you guys don't have to work on the mechanics, but you're free to. But remember, with character creation, part of what we're going to do, how we talked about these aspects will involve doing the same with you guys. And you may have some ideas of it. I like something like this, or I like something like that. If you come with no ideas, that's okay. We'll be doing it here together.
Yep.
Do we have 7 refresh?
Yeah, well, yeah, I figure we'll have to talk about that because that's going to be based off of scheduling. I'm okay. I think going up to 8. I think 8 was as high as at least one of you wanted to start.
Well,
8 lets you decide if you're an actual white court vampire versus a white court virgin. You can still be a white court virgin at 8. It just
Yeah.
means that you have extra fate points.
I was just the
or a
the
point spent on some other
yeah,
power.
there wasn't too much of a difference because I was able to pick up some of the white court vampire powers by
Yeah.
picking up hunger. So, however we want to play it, I mean, it's fine by me.
Well, we know that we're going to have a limited number of Mondays, the 5 of us. So starting higher means that I don't have
Russian advancement.
I don't have to rush the advancement. You've already done that. As part of the character creation, remember, you're going to help one person with their story. They're going to help you with, you'll help somebody else, or someone helps you, you help them. So each of you will know 2 other characters.
Right.
I don't like to do the last one of and now you know 2 other characters. It feels superfluous. Typically, I like to do what's your agenda, what's in it for you, what's your motivation, right? Something like that, which also kind of ties to what we just did for all of these guys. What's your motivation or relationship? So I'd like to consider doing that for the final phase instead of the guest star redo. That work for all of you?
Yes.
So, well, here we are, 10:01. Actually, we normally go to 11, don't we?
10:30ish sometimes. If we got more to do, if we
Keep going
don't.
if people want to start talking character stuff.
Well, we didn't bring up. You guys were discussing wanting to do like the riverboats or casinos. We never brought those up.
I took some notes on them, but we ran out of space. But we can add. I can add those to my notes.
I just know we discussed it to begin with, but never come back around to it. So I just was bringing it up.
Okay.
I mean, I think they should be there. We could make it a notable place, like one of them, if we want to. I don't know if we need to, so up to you all, I guess.
I don't think we need to declare one yet.
They're definitely there. It's
Okay.
right.
Now, is there somebody in neutral territory that we need to incorporate?
We a while ago talk about the neutral ground.
The trolley cars, but there's somebody driving it, right?
So we had said that's probably a mobile meeting place. Yes, that probably does need a face. What do you have an idea?
The conductor who's in the know about what goes on in his train.
Are you thinking the conductor similar to like the Matrix conductor?
Sure. He knows what's going on. He knows why it's going on, and he's on time to make sure that stuff is settled in a good spot.
Or he's late if it benefits.
Or it's a ghost trolley train.
Oh,
Okay with Ghost Trolley.
Ghost conductor. Or just.
I think he's solid. I think it's still. I like Ghost Trolley. Although they don't call it a trolley, they call it a streetcar.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So the Ghost Streetcar. And I'm okay calling him the conductor
You get on the wrong.
and just not giving him a name.
That works.
yeah, I like, at least for the supernatural community, that's just what he's known as.
Yeah,
Right?
he never talks to
He's
anyone.
the
I have an
guy.
idea.
Never says anything. You're on the train. Nods his head. Make sure to pay before you leave.
Yeah, I feel like he's very in the know, but is kind of a mind his own business kind of guy.
Well, you have to be if you're running neutral ground, right?
Exactly.
But if we're okay just calling him the conductor,
I like it.
I have an idea.
That works.
Okay.
And with it being a ghost streetcar, it can be as large as it needs to be.
Oh yes.
That's true.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's gonna suck when you get into the wrong tram one day and it's like, I'm in this one again.
Yeah, the thing is though,
Well,
for people
I was supposed to meet a troll here, but I don't think he's gonna fit.
tell me what you think. for people in the know, when they're ready to get onto the ghost streetcar,
Yeah, they know exactly which one it is.
and it's there.
It's always there.
It comes when it needs to come.
Hmm.
Sometimes you want to get on and it doesn't, though.
Because apparently you must not really need to be there.
Only the conductor knows why. Excellent. I am super duper happy with that. Do we need to talk about characters at all? We can start working on. We can start talking about high concepts since we have some time.
I kind of need to work on that. I'm not ready to do the aspect stories yet.
Okay. Have you figured out mechanically what you think you might do?
Well, that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I was going to look at inspire creativity, since he's a muse.
Oh, as an emotion, like
Yeah.
insight emotion.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move things around here. Sorry, I have my work computer out because I had to do a work thing a moment ago and couldn't finish it up.
It's definitely not going to be ranged because, you have to be touched by a muse.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So, but that's not a hunger thing for
No.
you?
No.
You're using that to put positive aspects on people.
Yep.
That makes sense, huh? That is interesting. So that's
I might even take it where it's weaponized only because you can make somebody so creative they can't stop thinking about it. But I haven't decided if I really want to do that. I'm really looking at it more for positive aspects on people.
Why don't it doesn't though? Maybe
it's not magic.
It might. That's it. It depends.
I cannot mentally get it out of my mind.
So why don't you start with it as I can put aspects down.
Yeah.
And as the game goes on, you might figure out a way for this makes sense for how I would weaponize it.
Yeah, but it would be great for MJ's character because I can inspire him in his rituals.
Yeah. Why would I need the teeth of this person when I can do something useful? Or, hear me out, we don't need to get any actual bio or organic substances. We can do this, and this.
So that's funny. But emotions created by the ability are real, but not true. So you can't do true love, true courage, true hope. All of that's off the table.
Mm-hmm.
So your inspiration is really bringing out maybe what's there.
Yeah.
But
I'm unlocking.
Yeah. That is interesting. So you don't really. So do you tie that to investigating, or is that the only supernatural ability you think you have?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I need to think about that because I know I'm taking some mortal stunts.
Yeah, and I think I've told you my opinion before. If there are mortal stunts which are similar to supernatural powers, I have no issue graduating a stunt to a similar power. Right? It makes sense to me on some things that hey, I have this thing that's speed, and eventually, since I'm supernatural, it can become inhuman speed.
Right.
I have a stunt that makes me fast, moving it to the power. It makes sense to me.
And he is going to be a scion, since...
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would make sense that you'd have that. Were you saying you were thinking about glamorous? No, Dave is thinking about glamorous.
Not glamorous.
Yes, I was. Yeah. So I'll just be right back real quick while you all are talking.
Yeah, go for it. So that is, as a scion, there's a whole bunch of other things that are possible, including,
Oh, yeah.
The inhuman speed and strength and some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you might also look at, weren't there some things for senses?
Yes, there are.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, am I thinking of the right, or am I thinking of Torg, the Nile Empire? I was thinking of the Nile for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things for senses. I mean, I had thought about taking Cassandra's... Is it Cassandra's Tears?
Cassandra's Tears. That one, I am not fond of that one.
Yeah, I never am as a GM, so
Here's why. Your people should believe you.
yeah.
And I get that it's a -0 because it's just what does it give you?
It basically is a plot device for you.
You think so?
Yeah, that's the way I've always seen it.
So you're able to make precognitive predictions or receive them from the GM. So receiving them from the GM is definitely plot device. Making them is letting you put an aspect on the world.
Right.
For something you think is going to happen, and then hey, this is exactly what I saw. And it's funny if it's like really not, it's really not. It's close, but everyone else can be like, it's kind of not. This guy thinks he's a psychic.
Yeah.
But you're always going to have a -2 to convince people that you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're correct. That one's weird. I've never seen anyone do it though, so that could work. I don't think you're thinking about the sight or soul gaze.
Oh God, no.
You'll have those.
Yeah, I don't get a choice. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Which sucks for me because unfortunately.
And none of you are pure mortals. That's interesting too.
No, we want to play interesting games.
Look, a pure mortal can be an interesting character.
Yes.
I just think it's fun to, hey, let me do these other things.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it. I want to play a fun character. Not saying that. Or
Yeah, if you want to play a pure mortal, you can basically play Torg and not have any magic, miracles, or psionics.
Right, I can just shoot people.
And it's going to work out in Torg about as well as it works out in this game.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
Apart from the character that died last night, but that's neither here nor there.
Actually, well, no, mortals in Torg can be a little more powerful because you can
You're all mortals.
go into reality stuff.
Yeah. You're all mortals.
Right, but you can storm call and say, hey, yeah, I have a reality of a degree and you don't. So give me your possibilities.
All right, so we're drifting. We
are. Yes, we're talking about the wrong game now.
All right, so is that helpful for you, Robert?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is there a list of skills anywhere in the book?
Page 120.
120. Oh, okay.
Yep, 120.
And we have decided
there they are.
We're going to go ahead and go with an 8.
Yes, you can take the book.
Okay, because I'm like,
I can't look at anything.
I don't know what character I'm making. Well, I know what character I'm making. I don't know.
Yeah, your stuff is pretty easy in terms of the powers.
Right.
Here's the list. You're gonna have, I think, 8 refresh is the first number where you're a recognized wizard of the White Council.
Right.
Because you have 3 points in thaumaturgy, 3 points in evocation, the sight and soul gaze, which together are another -1. Because one of them, if you have soul gaze, it makes the sight free. And then you'll get wizard's constitution, which is also 0. You're a White Council wizard, that's what you have.
Yep.
So we just have to talk when we're done about how those things work.
Yes.
And you're going to want to use your sight pretty often. It shows you all sorts of stuff.
No, I don't want to use my sight pretty often. It's pretty terrible.
It's revealing.
Right, and you can never ever get the things out of your head ever. They're always there.
Well, sure, you can look. You'll never forget a person's name.
Yeah.
I have 2 people looking kind of dubiously at the screen.
No. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Keep that sight up all the time.
David's like, Rod tricked me too. Don't listen, Michael John.
I was just looking at the list of skills, but
Well, and I see. I also,
be careful with the sight or not. It can be fun.
And I actually gave Rod my rules for weaponized sight.
How do you weaponize? You said, you did it as a GM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you sent me the link. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
So crazy stuff with people bonkers.
Basically, yeah.
There are just some things you don't want to ever see.
Right. So yeah, all the skills. Now, all of these skills are also built into the character sheet.
Yeah.
In Roll20.
I see that,
So
I
let's.
don't know what any of them do and what I can put them at. and how
That's
many
page
of them I can put
120.
them at.
Yeah.
And we're going with the standard pyramid.
Yes, which by the way, if we've gone up to 8 refresh, that's another change that it changes the number of skills you have.
Yeah.
So let's get to that. Character creation. So that means that Dan, you had already started building yours.
Yeah.
You're going to change that to chest deep, 8 refresh, 30 skill points, skill cap at superb. So, reads.
So does that mean that I get one at superb? I get one at that's lower than
You-
that?
yeah,
Or two
you-
that's lower than that?
Basically,
Okay.
are you Levere or
Ye-
Gabriel?
I'm Gabriel.
Okay.
Okay.
'Cause I like Gabriel.
So, being, I guess, taking it white court, I've got to take all these skills.
So what did we just say you are? You're yep, chest deep. I see you put it on there. Superb, base refresh. Yep. So now what you'll do, you see, and here let me do this, and I'll share my screen with you guys again, and put some things on Michael John's character sheet so you can all see how I'm doing. So first, you're gonna have your stunts and powers. Thaumaturgy, and we'll do some copying and pasting after, right? Evocation, recite, soul gaze, wizards, right? Now you'll see it did the math here. Hey, your total refresh adjustment is -7. That means whenever it's time to earn fate points, you're getting 1. Now, I know the book says you refresh up to your fate points. I prefer to say here's what you're earning when we do that refresh. Because I've seen otherwise 1 or 2 players just do the, well, you know, I think we're getting near the end, and since we're going to refresh, let me just blow everything now, because I know I'm going to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
So I
You
found
mean my
people.
mother?
What?
You mean my mother?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it encourages a certain type of play if you're going to do that.
I have guesses as to who some of those people are.
You were there. You were playing that game. You know.
I mean,
Okay.
I-
They're no longer guesses. I'm pretty sure.
So we do that, and then for you, Michael John, right? You said you're going to care about, in terms of skills, you care about your lore.
Lore, scholar.
So let's say lore and scholar. Now you're also going to care about conviction and discipline. So we could put those both at 3, and you see how it's adding up. Oh, and the total number available at this level.
35. No, sorry, 30.
So you just said 30, so.
Right. So you might also care about resources. Do you have a lab anywhere?
I do. I have my own occult shop. In fact.
So that means you have an aspect that says my occult shop.
Yes.
Okay. Weapons or guns? Do you care about those, or fists?
Guns. Because I can't kill a mortal with magic. So
No,
I
you
gotta
can't.
shoot you in the face.
Yes, but you also can't hold them paralyzed with magic and shoot them in the face.
Right, because I've just killed them with magic.
Correct.
You guys have
alertness,
to
maybe?
Alertness.
Alertness is initiative.
Yeah, I do kind of want to go first.
You might also see endurance. Here, you definitely want at least 1 there. Because by having, now we can click compact view, and hey, here's your pyramid. It shows what you got, 2 in each thing. You still have 10 more points to spend, so we got to spend some more of
So I
this.
could put a 5 into 1 thing.
Yes.
Only 1 thing?
Probably only 1 thing, yes. The way the pyramid works, yes. But let's double check. So let's say you wanted to bump your, lore up to 5? Probably not your scholarship, right?
No, I'll do scholar. Because, what, my lore and conviction are both the same, right?
They are,
My
but
conviction's a 3. Can I bump my conviction?
here's the
up to a
thing.
4?
Having conviction gives you higher mental defenses.
Mhm.
Discipline is easier for when you're throwing spells in a fight.
Yeah.
So which of those would you bump up? Or would you bump up
I
both
would
by
bump
one?
up conviction to a 4 so that they're both the same.
Okay, so put both of those in a 4.
Mhm.
Now our pyramid's going to be out of whack, right? We need some things at good.
We do need
3 things at good, right? Which is we're going to run out of points, I think. But that's okay. So what else do we like at good? Do we move the guns up? And bear in mind, this is just our first pass, so everyone can see how you build this part.
Yeah, I will
And-
move guns up because I do need to shoot people.
Stealth, survival. Ooh, presence or rapport. That's your socials. How good are you in a
Presence.
social situation?
I want presence to be pretty cool.
Presence. Okay, so we'll put presence to a 3. That's two points left. How's the pyramid look? Yeah, we're gonna have a problem here.
Yeah, because now we're moving stuff.
We got 0 there, and you don't have enough things to put 4 points there. So what drops down? Guns, presence, or resources?
Presence.
All right.
Because I like presence.
Yeah.
But it's
So
not
presence drops down, but it also means we got to reduce conviction, discipline, or scholarship by 1. So which one of those goes down?
Right, because they have to be within what, 1 of.
You have to nothing. It's a pyramid or a column. You can't have anything larger at the top than you have below it. So what goes down 1?
Scholarship. 'Cause
Scholarship.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I like scholarship. That's
All right.
cool. You know, I'm
Yeah,
smart.
yeah, I got that. So now we have 3 here. Is one of these things going to drop down? How many points do we have left? We have 4 points left. We can put 2
Yeah, but
things.
I can just put stuff into +2.
Yeah, so you want to put 2 things at +2, right?
I think I'll do contacts.
Okay, and that's people you know.
Actually,
Athletics is dodging attacks
athletics instead of contacts.
instead of contacts. Okay.
Right. I'm assuming that because Dan's playing with face, he'll have points in some of those things.
That's an assumption.
It is an assumption, definitely.
Points in what? What? Huh?
18, intimidation, might, performance. Any of these things matter to you?
That's dumb.
We got 2 points left, so I put 2 there. Now let's look at your pyramid. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. B, got a problem right here. Right?
Yeah.
this is it's tough when you have to build like this because then it's so really we have to move one of these down to here and then one of these down to here. So what moves down from each? Does guns move down and stealth move down maybe?
Yeah.
So if guns moves down and stealth moves down, we still have 2 points left over. Three. You can make one of these a 3. Resources or scholarship, you can bump back up by 1. Or you can take some of these and move them to the bottom of the list here.
Consider I can move resources or scholarship up 1.
Oh, no, you're right. You can't. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, I have 4 points. No.
You have 2 left. So I think you could bump one of these. Yeah. If you were to move this up, that costs you 1. Then you need to move that up, costs you 2. That costs you 3. Yeah. So Your other yeah, because you only have 2 left. So what do we like here?
Yes, what 2 things can I put 1 point?
Yeah. 1 point in. Now your endurance, where's your endurance? That's average. That's going to give you an extra. Your conviction.
Well, I can move endurance up 1, and then add another 1 at 1, right?
I think so, yes. So you can move endurance up by 1. And then what else do you want to move up? Here, I'll come back over here. Oh, now, see, because we took 1 away from here.
Yeah, never mind. Yes, it's really what 2 things am I going to put?
I think so. I think it's what
That's
2
fine.
things do you want on the bottom. So did you grow up out in the bayou?
Yeah, it was horrible.
So survival.
Yep.
And you said you liked contacts.
I did like contacts. Yeah.
So you can do contacts and survival. Now remember, I told you this, but you may have forgotten. I think everyone else here knows. When we get to a minor milestone, you can take 2 skills that are adjacent to each other, like this, Michael John, and swap them.
Okay.
It represents the fact that your character is now focusing in a different direction.
Right. You're kind of
So you're not like other role-playing games married to these skills forever.
Okay. So that's, yeah, I'm kind of washing this thing off because I'm practicing this thing more instead.
This thing is what I'm doing more. And eventually you'll earn skill points as well. And eventually you'll earn refresh.
Right.
Now, every time you earn a skill point, you can also change one of those 2 skills around. Every time you earn refresh, you'll also earn a skill point and be able to change those 2 things around.
Okay, so when I earn refresh, I'll be at 31.
Yes, eventually you'll get a new point of, no. You'll probably get a couple points of skills before you get a point of refresh.
Okay.
Additionally, instead of swapping 2 skills, you can tweak an aspect. So
right, change that around.
If you have an aspect and it's like, this one's not really working, I think it's more like this, right? You can make some of those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, some of the consequences, those are negative aspects like wounds and stuff, you're also able to fix that way.
Mm-hmm.
Your presence, where's your presence? Your presence is there, so that's going to give you another one of these. Now, technically, if your conviction and lore were to change, I believe that would give you another consequence type you could take.
Or another stress?
No, not more stress. You get to a point. So this is going to be conviction, page 124, right? When you get to superb, you'll get an additional mild mental consequence. That is the ability to soak mental damage, or honestly, to throw another spell.
Okay.
What you've opted for with lore, your lore is good, your conviction and discipline is good. You're going to be able to do all the magic skills fairly well.
Yeah.
Unless you decide to build in something into one of your aspects of, I'm not great at this type of magic. And you build that into one of your aspects to earn you points.
Right. I'm going to do this then. I suck at it. Hey, can I have one of those pretty points?
Here you go, right there. Go get one. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of, for example, in the Dresden files, right? Everyone knows Harry Dresden is not subtle. He has an aspect about him, subtle, which means anytime he's trying to do subtle magic, guess what? It's bad. It's terrible. His apprentice, Molly, amazing with subtle magic, not good at the battle. So when she has to fight, she's doing all sorts of things that don't do damage. Right? And both of those are based off of the aspects of
Hey,
their
look, I
characters.
just made an oil flick here to slip and then fall, and I'm going to run away because I can't do it.
She'll do more of an illusion of an oil slick.
Oh.
Or better yet, in one book, she does like 10 illusions of herself running in 10 different directions while making herself invisible.
Yeah.
She didn't run, though. She stood where she was, and her 10 illusions run in different directions.
Yeah, that's good. That's decent stuff.
That's what she does, right? She's just amazing with illusions.
Hey, I'm invisible. I'm gonna shoot you in the face, man. Well, would that be
Questionable.
It's questionable. If you use the sight, though, you'd be able to see someone who's invisible, right?
Yes.
Right. So
That's the problem with illusions.
So let's say,
The
there's
sight
an illusion.
sees through
I
them.
open up my sight, and then they shoot me in the face. Have they broken a law of magic?
They shot you with a gun?
Right, but they were also invisible.
I'm not going to worry about
But
that
I could
yet.
see them.
Here's the thing. If it's someone who's shooting you in the face, do you really think they're worried about the laws of magic?
Probably not. They're shooting you in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but does this make sense, right? And you guys who are here, I know Dave and Robert, you guys have done this a bunch of times, so you know this part. And Dan, you and I talked about the mechanics, right, last week. So I think you have a pretty good idea of what we're doing, right? We'll fill in the powers. Does this make sense to you, the pyramid?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just each level needs to be no more than the one below it, right? Yeah.
So ultimately, I usually think of and look, you can do 1, 2, 2, 3, 5. I don't know any other. I don't know any other good. I mean, there are ways we can do some numbers, some number crunching on it, right?
You might be able to bring some more of them up, but I don't know if you'd be able to have a +5.
I believe you're correct, right?
Yeah.
Because
if you want 3 +4s and 3 +3s, it might be doable if you have
you
no
could
+5.
technically do a column of 2 and everything. You can
all
do
the
a
way up to
column.
+5?
Yeah. Right?
Oh, really?
5 + 4, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15 times 2 is 30.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right?
It's
It means
tempting.
the next time you get a skill, something goes from mediocre to average. And the next
That's true.
couple of skills are going to end up here, right? You'll get 3 skills here, and then one of them will go up. So it'll take
That's
a while.
true. Yeah, your later skill ups will be not so impressive. Yep.
You know, but then at that point, you're trained in, what is that? 10 of how many skills are there? There's 25 skills total. You'll only be trained in 10 of them. So that's one way to go. Your other option, like you did, like Michael John did, is nope, can't do 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. There's nope, that doesn't work. I think looking at things, he's a 1, 2, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, those I think are probably the 2 options that are mathematically, if you want at least 1, 5. If you don't, you could do 3, 3, 3, 3, which means the first time you get a skill point, you take something from great and put it to superb. But then 12 different skills out of the 25, right? You went with an option where 13. Look how much stuff you don't know. There's just a lot of stuff you just don't know.
Well, yeah.
What you can, on your settings, say don't show the mediocre skills, so that when you come back and look at the character sheet, it only shows you the ones that you have. And if you're asked to roll it and you don't have it, you're just going to give us a basic roll. What am I rolling? I'm rolling my fists. And hey, you rolled a 0 for fists. You can also, click the dice, fudge that way. But I can show you guys how to put this macro in if you'd like, where you can have a little button on the bottom of your screen that just does it for you. Up to you.
Yes.
So Any questions on the character creation stuff? We can look at yours too, Dan.
Yeah, I've been working on mine right now. I'm trying to figure out. I know you told me last week, and I'm just trying to remember how to determine how many blocks to open up depending upon what level of particular skill is involved with it.
What do you mean, how many blocks?
Like endurance, conviction, presence, discipline.
Got it.
It
So the most
says.
basically, everyone starts at 2. So let's do
Right.
this. Start you at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If for each of these that you have it at 1 or 2, you're going to add another one. So where's your presence?
My presence is
Up here.
up there, but does it need to be that high? I guess I don't know.
Well, let's see what it does. That's pretty high, right?
Okay, there you go. What page was that?
Presence does.
I'm going to
So presence will give you 4 and an additional social consequence. So you would do this and say add a mild social. Right? This means that when someone is trying to socially inconvenience you, you'll probably take it here before you take it anywhere else.
Okay.
That's really, really high. That is a super duper high presence. If you care about your hunger, I'd consider moving discipline up, because right now that's where you are for that. And endurance, you're here. So you are with presence like this, you're very, very much a social character. That's very high, right? And
Right.
I think I made for you guys this reference sheet.
Okay.
2 of them. I thought one of them had skills and trappings. So it gives an idea of, hey, these are what you use the skills for. So presence, charisma, command, reputation, social fortitude. Rapport, chit chat, closing down, first impressions, opening up, social defense. Deceit, right? Pretty obvious. Empathy, reading people, etc. There's a lot of social skills on this list. And you have a bunch, right? That you opted for something that gives you a little bit more of some of what you want and the ability to move some of these up kind of quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, is just trying to arrange them, see how best to do them.
Yeah.
Plus, we were discussing being the face. I figured I needed higher presence, but I'm trying to look up and exactly see what I need and where I need
think
it.
of this, right? And social conflicts, and they're basically social combats. Somebody could basically be doing social stuff to your allies so that the allies, are taken out by getting angry and storming off and leaving you by yourself. So you might, win that social conflict a little bit, but then they may be like, all right, well, it's just you now. Get them, boys. That can happen. Social conflict is weird in Dresden. There are parts of it that are difficult to handle, especially when it's there's one of me and 5 of you guys all taunting me.
Yeah, so it might not be a big thing to put presence being the highest.
How have you handled that in the past, Robert? Do you do each side is basically doing an attack and a defense in a social conflict?
Yes.
You don't like the 5-on-1.
It depends on which person it is. If it is a person that has high presence, no. But I have actually run it where that was the case, where 5 people were trying to deal with one person, and with his Teflon persona and the 5 points he had in presence, they did not hit him at all.
Right.
So
social conflict is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the things that you have going on in Dresden Files, that's the most difficult to adjudicate.
Yes, but it can also be one of the more interesting.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, totally agree.
Let me ask you a quick question. What is your feeling about items of power, the most abusive thing in the game?
It can be. It absolutely can be. Are you thinking of something in particular?
I was thinking of potentially a gift from one of my uncles. So
Okay, well let's see. Items of
Page is
power.
there were only 2 abilities I really wanted, and I'm just pulling them directly from the Sword of the Cross, and that is Holy and True Aim.
That's not bad.
not so great and good.
I'm trying to find the, here they are.
168.
Oh, 168.
Yeah, item of power.
Oh, there it is. Items of power.
I mean, it's going to be. I mean, since I'm looking at Hephaestus having made it, it's a retractable baton. So
Okay.
it's not a sword. It's just something he uses as a police officer.
So the true aim, and what was the other thing you said?
Holy.
Oh, the holy true faith. So your character's going to have, conviction.
Yes.
He believes in the Greek. He obviously believes in the Greek gods.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have conviction.
How are you doing it in terms of points?
In terms of, am I buying true faith or?
Well, I mean, if you have, does holy have a prerequisite?
Well, what I was looking at was you have to be descendant of the gods, but.
So the holy touch requires one to take righteousness.
Right.
So are you saying that it has both of those in it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Because with the holy, what can you do with that? So let's talk about that. Because you said you wanted to have holy and true aim. What do you do with holy? Obviously, it's a bane. It satisfies the catch for a bunch of things.
Right.
And +1 to your weapon skill. What is the purpose of it? Right, because remember, all the items you have to kind of define their purpose.
Oh, right. I mean, no, this is a lot of stuff I have to work out if I decide to go this route.
I don't want. The reason I'm asking is, I don't want a carte blanche be like, nope, they're out. I know
Right.
there are some GMs who do that. I don't like to.
Yeah, this is something I was just thinking of, so I don't have a full answer yet.
Okay. Ooh, excuse me.
But I'm sure it's going to have where is it?
Because what does
This of it I know is going to have to deal with something about justice, but
okay. The holy touch, is that make it a weapon?
I don't remember.
Yeah, again, right, it could qualify as satisfying a catch. If not, it's basically creatures that are offensive to your faith basically just have, here's an extra point of stress when you hit.
Right.
So a baton is what, a weapon 2?
I think it's a weapon too.
So it's either a +1 to hit with a weapon 2 or a +1 to hit as a weapon 3, or a +1 to hit weapon 2 satisfies the catch, which can be quite a bit more than that +1.
Right. Well, I don't want it to satisfy every catch.
No, it would only be holy items, things
Right.
that are holy. Which, Black Court, right?
Yeah.
Are Red Court affected
I think
by
Red Quarter too, because he used holy water.
Yep, you're right. I think they are. So, and we know there's a bunch of both of those. Ghosts, obviously. Demons, one would expect.
Yes.
Although technically, it has to be things that are opposed to your faith. What's opposed to the Greek faith?
I mean, I could see the vampires being.
Yeah, I can. I can see vampires being opposed to basically anything.
Yeah. Judeo-Christian demons, I'm not really sure about.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Maybe not on those, right? So
Yeah.
it's definitely there's some limits there.
Right.
But it might work against, say, Hecatean hags.
Oh, definitely.
You know, whereas I don't think most hags have a catch of holy stuff. But they might just be instead all right, well, you know what? You'll have that +1 to hit. They are in here. So I'm willing to negotiate on all of that.
Okay. As I said, I'm not 100% sure this is the route I want to go, but I mean, right now having 4 refresh.
You know, an item of power 4 refresh is pretty good.
Yeah.
It could also be, since you're an investigator, it could be a psychic ability you don't want to take, like the sight.
Or I was thinking psychometry.
Stuff like that, yeah. You know, because if it's the sight, you actually put glasses on.
Yeah.
Right? And you're always prepared to take them off. But, you have a wizard. Let him do the sight.
Exactly.
Why should you bother taking that kind of risk? The belt, the Hexenwolf belts are items of power.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, right now, what I have is marked by power, the inspire creativity, scene of the crime, and weight of reputation. So I can use my presence instead of intimidate.
Or, to intimidate someone.
Yeah.
You're intimidated. Basically, that's how you bad cop.
Right.
Here's my badge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That all makes sense. You just have to decide, is the item of power something of importance to you?
Right.
And how important?
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw it out there to see, because I've seen those highly abused.
Yeah, they can be. Like, what was the worst one you saw?
Somebody wanted to put, oh God, what is the second level of speed in it?
Oh, superhuman speed,
Yeah.
which is a -4.
Right.
And what was it like? I want this belt that does it.
No, it was a Caduceus.
Okay, so it belonged to Hermes.
Yeah.
And they said, so what does that get? The -2?
Yeah.
At best it's a -1.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, because if it's difficult to detect, allowing concealment, you only get 1 point of refresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 3 points for supernatural speed. Speed is amazing in this game.
It is. I was thinking of just buying Inhuman speed to just off the bat, but
Inhuman speed is nice.
What?
And look, as a scion, you're ultimately going to define what would be your ultimate tricked out skill set.
right.
And then you have options to buy up to those as you're playing.
Right. Well, I mean, muses move at the speed of thought, so
That makes sense. But probably not so much in the toughness area, right?
No.
You'd have Wizard's Constitution, because you are supernatural.
yeah.
I wouldn't see any of the other toughness powers, but yeah, I can understand. You're thinking you could get to mythic speed someday.
Yeah.
That's like centuries from now, right?
Right, and he's also not going to have the strength, so because strength is not one of their areas.
No, it's not. Any minor abilities?
The only one that I was thinking of, well, that's a more of a psychic, is the psychometry, just reading the past of an item.
It's always a good power. Psychometry is always a good power.
Yeah.
In just about any game where you're doing investigation.
Yeah, it's really pretty powerful.
Okay.
Is that basically, is the psychometry for you, would that be how you've been inspired?
Yes.
You know, you may not have original ideas, but you are picking up on others' ideas.
Right.
Okay. I can see that.
I need to make those magical implement things.
Yeah, we're going to talk. We have to talk about rote spells and magic implements.
Yeah,
So, but that's a complex enough conversation. I wasn't going to make everybody else listen.
Oh
to
no,
it.
that's gonna be like time when we're not playing.
Yeah, like later this week
Right.
or Saturday.
So
It's very easy for me to have a conversation with him, right?
Right.
Well,
Building Saturday.
and we'll work on it. Any questions at all from you, Dave?
Maybe a bit. I'm trying to sort out which skills. So I think I've got which skills affect your 3 tracks. Which skills are used for
Show you that.
defense?
Here.
Hmm?
It should show you that on the character sheet itself, right? Physical is endurance. Mental
Yeah.
is conviction. Social is presence. So it's going to tell you those there.
Yeah.
And athletics is your main physical defense.
Athletics.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is defense rolls for physical is always going to be athletics, pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay. And is mental pretty much always discipline?
If someone gives you a mental attack, you roll discipline, yes.
Okay. And social, from what I was reading, sounds like it depends on what they're doing to you.
Yes.
Because it looks like there was empathy was one, rapport was one.
Yep.
Maybe, again, discipline, depending on what it is.
Yeah, usually probably more empathy or rapport, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, remember, the social gets a little bit weird. Like, that's what I'll be reading up on the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Okay. And then if I remember right, something like keeping calm in a stressful situation would also be like discipline.
Typically, yeah. That's
Okay.
more discipline.
The reason I'm asking that is because I'm thinking about maybe my character's like an EMT or paramedic or something.
Oh, okay.
So you'd want to keep your cool.
You
when
absolutely
stuff's
would.
happening.
And additionally, that gives you if you put some points, it's not medicine. What is it in this one?
Well, it looks like it falls under scholarship, and I was going to ask about that. Huh?
It does. You're right. I was
Yeah.
trying to think, and I was having trouble.
So is there a way to specialize that?
Stunts.
Stunts. Okay.
So when you go look at stunts, every single stunt costs a point. And if we go down to scholar, there's specifically doctor.
Oh.
So
Well,
for
I
a
should look at
point,
that.
yeah, you can, hey, I do this too. I have now, it lets you basically, you don't have to take people to a hospital to treat them. Their consequences start healing as soon as you declare that you're treating them.
Okay.
So, and then you read through, it says +1 when you do roll scholarship for medical research, and an additional +1 in a specific area of medicine. So you'd pick, right? So you might do, well, I'm an EMT, I'm going to have 1 for medical research, and I'll put my other one in trauma, right?
Okay.
Or first aid, that sort of thing. So that
Scholarship.
does that make sense?
Sorry, go over that again. I was trying to read while you were talking, and
Yeah.
I got confused by it. I was skimming through it, and I was like, wait a minute, these stunts seem to have the same names as the skills. And then I realized, oh, it's listing this, it's the skills, and then it lists relevant stunts under it. So,
Correct.
okay. So I was confusing myself. Sorry.
That's okay. Every stunt is affiliated with a skill.
Right.
So the doctor is basically first, you can use scholarship to declare appropriate justification for the recovery of moderate physical consequences when outside a medical facility. That's probably not a big deal since none of you are pure mortals, right? And I expect at the very least, if you don't have a healing power, you're taking Wizard's Constitution. Now, I don't think Wizard's Constitution lets you
No.
automatically heal everything.
I was not planning to do either of those things.
Oh, you're not going to take Wizard's Constitution?
It's how much refresh does that cost?
0.
Oh, maybe I should then.
Yeah, if you're a scion or an emissary of power, it's probably something they go, here, you need to be a little bit tougher than you are.
Okay.
And
Would it make sense for a changeling as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You are marginally tougher than you are. That's it. Actually, as a changeling, it would make sense for you to have, like you're saying, a fey changeling.
Yeah, and I was maybe thinking of taking the
You should.
first level of toughness
Yep.
with the catch of cold iron
Yep.
because well, cold iron or silver?
Usually cold iron.
Cold iron. Okay, with the catch of cold iron,
That includes
because
steel.
that's basically free.
No, you can't reduce a toughness power to 0.
Oh, really?
So you might then say, well, I may as well take inhuman toughness and inhuman recovery,
Okay.
right?
Which would make Wizard's Constitution kind of moot.
What's that?
Which would make Wizard's Constitution kind of moot.
Yeah, it's a higher version. Wizard's Con is a lower version of that.
Yeah. Okay.
If
But
you
I need to
do
look at that because I did want inhuman speed and glamours, and this is getting expensive at that point.
Yes, it does. So, but your catch, right? If your catches bypass something that anyone could reasonably gain access to but doesn't carry on them, you gain a +2. If anyone with an awareness of the supernatural knows about your catch, you can also get up to a +2. Which means if everyone knows, oh, he's fey-blooded, you should be able to take inhuman toughness and inhuman recovery and the catch for probably a total of -1. Right? Just looking at the examples
so
they have
I
here.
can so I can stack the knowledge with the material.
Yes, each of these bullet points is specific. So if your abilities only protect you against something specific, just take a +2. If they protect you against everything except something specific, and get nothing. Your abilities get this. So this first bullet point gives you 0 on your catch. If it could be bypassed by something anyone can reasonably get access to, but doesn't carry on them, like cold iron, +2. Now remember, cold iron includes steel jacketed rounds.
Right. Well, yes, steel jacketed rounds aren't something that normal people run around firing on a regular basis. If somebody knows about me and knows they're going to encounter me or is coming for me, then yes, of course they would have it. But yeah. If we run into like those random gang people, they're probably just shooting lead.
Probably, yes. That's going to hurt.
Yes.
But you should live, right?
Yeah.
Now,
and of course, if we run into any of those like vampire weirdos who are like, we use swords. Why? Because we're vampires. Okay. Well, swords are probably steel.
Right.
Oh, vampires?
There are plenty of vampires around.
Yeah.
I don't need to
I'm not saying vampires use swords, but sometimes people who have been around for 500, 600, 700 years just aren't into the newfangled things.
Right.
Especially when they just sort of heal in minutes, maybe even seconds from.
Well, let's be honest. Most vampires are going to use their physical abilities.
True.
Right. The awareness of the supernatural knows and can find out. That can be another 1 or 2 points.
Yeah. So that would be knows about the catcher, could easily find out.
If they have to know something about you personally, then it's also worth 0.
Okay. I'm going to have to get going.
It is 11 o'clock.
It is technically end time.
Yep. This is the time we end.
Okie doke.
So you want to take us out, Dan? I know that's your thing.
Yeah, no problem. So, what do we got here? Oh, okay. Sorry. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight to finish up our creation of... Well, let me get rid of my screen capture. We'll go back to the main page. Our creation of the City of New Orleans for our Dresden Files game. Check back with us next Monday as we continue working on our actual individual characters and flesh them out so we can actually start playing in this world that Rod's going to run us through. With that, we got...
Built yourselves, which means I'm not to blame.
Sure.
Wait a minute. If there's a dragon in this one, you are.
I'll accept that.
Okay.
But yeah, check back with us next Monday as we finish making our characters and get all that squared away. Check back with us Wednesday for our organized Torg Eternity game, Blood on the Blasted Lands. Friday for our Room of the Frost Maiden 5th edition D&D game. And Sunday night, 7 o'clock for our Dungeons with Veterans 5th edition homebrew game. With that, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're in this adventure called Life Together. So remember the golden rule. Treat those around you the way you'd like to be treated yourself. And with that, have a good week.
I didn't